headphones. They
They're
light up
their
when they're on.
glasses.
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
yeah. They like talk.
Yeah,
Oh, that's super fun.
Very cool.
well, you want to know what? They don't look like headphones. The headphones on your head look like headphones.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
But these aren't hooked into my computer because I got a new computer a few months ago.
Oh, jeez.
So Theo, what shows do you got coming up?
Hold on. Hold on. I have to share this show. Talk amongst yourselves. I forgot to share the show on Twitter.
Should we
It's
be
fine.
concerned that the top corner of this says live?
It's fine. Yes.
Yeah.
It's already happened. I mean, it's already happening, but I have to.
Yeah.
Shit, we didn't tell you. You just
So-
roll with it.
So
That's
a few
the
weeks
just
ago,
roll, you don't acknowledge it. That's the gimmick
Yeah.
of the show. It's supposed to feel like an organic conversation. It's okay.
Well,
It's my fault for not telling you. At this point, I should stop assuming people could just pick up
stop
the vibe.
assuming. Stop assuming. Because that's me. 2-3 weeks ago, I was on here and Theo's like saying something like really good. And in the middle of a sentence, he just goes live in the middle of a sentence. And I've got I thought we were waiting for Darnell. So, and I said the exact same thing, interrupting him.
Well, here I am talking about Asians with flat faces as if they've been hit with shovels, and you know,
We
ours is
weren't
like
live
their
at that
face was
point.
flat.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, it's like live. I'm like, Jesus.
Well, we're on Rumble and X, so even if we get dropped, we'll be
Oh,
fine.
I looked for you.
Oh,
on
so I
Rumble.
can say
didn't find
slurs?
you.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
We're
and
still on
YouTube.
I
YouTube
don't
there.
know.
Ah.
We're also
We're
on
YouTube.
Twitch, so like be
Oh.
careful.
So I love China. Winnie the Pooh is my favorite.
The wrestler,
that's-
she was
Hassan
great, man.
Piker
She
is
was awesome.
fantastic.
Okay, Railify, I want to ask you. So I've wanted to ask you this question for a while. It's like, so after COVID, I think I, like a lot of people, lost faith in the news, and I decided I'd rather be uninformed than misinformed. Why should I pay attention to the news if it's just going to lie to me?
So interesting thing. Up until I don't know, 25 minutes ago, I thought this show was going to be about fatherhood and marriage and relationships, kind of the exact way you're like, hey, I think we're going to do this topic, and then doing the link. I was like,
Oh,
oh,
it's your
shit,
fault
things
for
changed.
thinking.
So then I'm
He
telling my
subverts
wife.
expectations.
I'm telling
Yeah.
my wife how I put long good thought as to why you should get married.
Excellent.
and why you should have children and all of that stuff, and then I was like, but it doesn't matter now because it's all about the news. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to say because the news sucks. It's fake. Why should you pay attention to it? Maybe you shouldn't, because most of the time it's fake and you're just going to get sucked into fake bullshit, and then eventually you're going to be one of those people that think that Ukraine is actually winning when they've lost this war a year and a half ago. So, but yeah, COVID really fucked me up. Like news-wise, it turned me into an actual lunatic. Like,
yeah, dude.
COVID, like the lockdowns, the fear mongering, everyone's trying to force vaccinate my pregnant wife and stuff like that, turned me into like the lunatic that you guys know. I was different before the pandemic.
Yeah, dude. I didn't want to be like this. I wanted to be normal. I
Right?
thought, I wanted to be a normal guy. I was just going to get out of law school and fucking buy a Tesla and just be a dick. And then it changed the whole way I viewed everything. And then I lived on a train for a bit and, got in touch with God and decided I'm going to go back to comedy. Let's see if I can still do that.
Can you?
Yes, turns out. It turns out I made more money from comedy than I have from law.
Well, with the whole news thing, there's a complete and utter obvious answer to the news, and it's what Chris Gore and Nerdrotic say all the fucking time. We are the news now. We are the media now. Yeah. People don't trust the suits, so they come to us because at least we're funny if we lie to them.
Look at me. Look at me. I am the news now.
Even like Benny Johnson, Tim Pool, Joe Rogan.
Third Railify.
Yeah, people would,
yeah, absolutely.
People would rather their newscaster wear a beanie than a suit if they're going to tell them bullshit.
Or talk about Nickelback.
Well, the one thing that really fucked up people is that clip, and you can still find it, where they're talking about how, and this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Dangerous to our democracy.
And then it's just like, I think it was like all of the Sinclair news stations, which there's the fucking 1,000 of them or whatever, and they all had the exact same thing, and it was all about how was it like protesting a stolen election or something like that was dangerous to the democracy, and it's word for word, and everyone's like, wait a minute, that's impossible. No one can just 1,000 monkeys on 1,000 typewriters can't do that kind of shit. So that broke a lot of people's brains. They're like, it is fake. It is all fake.
I just want to point out, you said 1,000 monkeys. Are you assuming that all their scripts were written by DEI hires?
God damn, Arza, we're on Twitch. We're on Twitch.
Well, Twitch just made.
I love DEI hires Twitch. I love them.
Channels can come back.
I love DEI hires Twitch. This is me being nice to them.
That's you being nice to him?
To be clear, he was speaking specifically about chimpanzees, not
exactly. Exactly. We got to get our wild animal quota up.
Oh, you're digging yourself deeper and deeper.
We have to increase our quota of aspiring astronauts.
Oh boy.
What is the channel called on Rumble?
You're not helping.
Repost the video so my Rumble people can see it.
I
They
think I'm
won't
just
come.
Theo Snodgrass on Rumble. I have not invested a lot of time in building my Rumble infrastructure. This
You
is
should-
all
Maybe
this is
that's
all
a
just
mistake.
like a half-assed operation. And as we were discussing earlier, or as Arza said earlier, I'm too pretty to learn to use a computer. I can usually literally my life strategy up to this point is I'm just like, oh, I'm so frustrated, I can't do it. And like people do stuff for me. And that's how life has been.
You're a pretty
You see,
girl. Okay, got
By
it.
being hot,
Yeah.
women get men to do things for them because men think they can have sex with that woman. Pretty men can get away with it too because we think that he'll trigger the cheerleader effect.
What's
None
crazy?
of your
No,
your videos are on
What's the
on
cheerleader
Rumble.
effect?
Not really, no.
You see what the
Morning
cheerleader
Mayhem
effect is?
said it's not on Rumble.
Yeah.
It's on your channel, it's not on Rumble, he said.
Oh, it is.
No.
Oh shoot. All right.
No,
well, that's okay. We'll get it next time.
The Theo Snodgrass got 2 followers. That's the start.
Yeah.
You got 2 videos. It looks like you doing comedy, which is great.
Yeah. But yeah, I
Well,
don't have any
this-
of my shit really.
This
on
should be
Rumble.
there because I got lots of Rumble people, man.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it's crazy. Last time I was on with Sean, I got I think it was 10 Rumble followers.
Emerald
Really?
earned money on Rumble last night.
That's right.
Oh
That is
shit!
correct.
I gotta get on Rumble.
Oh, and for that stream, I also got 2 cents for the stream itself. Also,
gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing
Nice.
is, this is supposed to be on Rumble. I like streaming from Talk Studio Streamlabs to Rumble is a pain in the ass. This is not a fun conversation for a podcast. Can we talk about this after? I was having fun
But you
talking
don't
about
want
this.
inside.
This is about to
out.
get very autistic very quickly.
Yeah, you don't
and
want inside
I don't want to
baseball
lose the
cheerleader
4% of my
effect,
audience
please.
that's female. Okay, let's fucking.
Yeah, this is too
Clean it up,
highbrow
people.
for them. This is
I thought it went up
This
to
is too
6.
smart for them.
so
That's not
so-
what I said.
6% now.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. It is what I meant, but it's not what I said.
Didn't you?
All right.
So no, okay. So Sean, now being a good father, is it wise to actually introduce your children to the mainstream media, or is it a good thing to keep them away from it?
You're making fun of me.
I'm gonna keep them away from it as long as possible, I think. And then when they do ask me questions about the news, I'm just gonna say all of them are fucking liars. That's what I'm gonna say.
Mhm.
Maybe not like that because the other day I was on a stream. I'm not sure whose stream. Maybe I don't know. I was streaming somewhere and I got a little carried away. I didn't realize that my son was above me, and he could hear my profanity through the fucking vents. And then my wife was like, "Don't listen to Daddy."
Did he learn some new words that night?
No, okay. So here's a true story, a funny story. So I'm in the bathroom, and then all of a sudden I hear my third oldest boy Rory, and he's playing his tabby, but he's kind of yelling. He's kind of like ah, and then I hear my oldest boy Elliot. He's 6. He goes, "Shut the fuck up." And I'm like, "Oh, I better finish on this toilet as fast as possible so I can deal with that." And then so, less than a minute later, I said, "Shut the fuck up. And I'm like, oh, so I'm like hurrying. I get out there. I'm like, hey, Elliot, you know, why do you think Daddy's a little upset right now? Why do you think Daddy's, you know, kind of mad? He's like, well, like, because I said the F word. I'm like, yes, but why? Why do we got to use that word? There's all kinds of words. He's like, and he's dead in the eyes. He looks at me. And he's like, Dad, because he wouldn't shut the fuck up. I'm like,
Based.
I'm like, you know what? I am simultaneously mad at you, but I'm also simultaneously not trying to laugh my fucking ass off, and I'm failing. My lips are pursing. There's a crack in my smile or whatever. I have lost all authority. I'm out. Touche, my son.
That's my wife hates when that happens because I do the same thing, and I break down every time.
At a certain point, you got to sit down and have that conversation with the kids in the sense of, you know, I know what Santa Claus, and you've heard the rumor Santa Claus isn't real, and yeah, that's true. And you know, the mainstream media, they're not real either. I mean,
okay, so if I'm a person and I want to be informed, and I just go, should I just like grope blindly on the internet until I latch onto something that validates my emotions?
Yes, you should always grope blindly on the internet for anything.
I'm open.
Okay, all right. That's
well, I don't know. So it's like Rule
34.
Okay, so I think once you realize that everything has a slant one way or the other, there's very, very little like purely like unbiased centrist stuff that's just interested in facts, because I mean it always falls one way or the other, right? So once you sort of like understand that MSNBC is extreme left wing, like because that's their corporate overlords are like that, and Fox is kind of like center right. You know, once you sort of hear their message and you understand that, you can kind of start to decipher like why they're saying the things that they're saying, and it's almost like once you know how the sausage is made, you won't need to you don't need to, I don't know, really pay much attention to what they're saying. Like in the Matrix, when the guy's like, yeah, you know, all I see is like blonde, redhead, brunette, whatever. I can see it all. That's kind of how it is once you actually understand it. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Do you think most people have enough agency? I was just saying, do you think most? Sorry, I have this. I just want to follow up on that real quick. Do you think most people have the agency to do that?
No, they're fucking retards.
No, it's too hard. People aren't smart enough to willing to put in the effort to do that. And
no, not only that, bro. Listen, do they have the agency to do that? No, because they don't even have the agency to read past the headline. Like, do you know how many fucking fact checks where it's been like, you know, something, fact check false. And then, you know, I've had some fucking liberal retard go, you know, here you go, fact check false. I'm like, okay, let's read down a little bit. And basically near the bottom is like, even though pretty much everything about this is true, this is the reason why we're calling it false on some weird gay technicality that means nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you just gotta fucking read. And they don't even do that. So people are dumb.
No, I mean, well, I tell you what, I talk about this all the time. I've argued with a lot of feminists in a lot of comedy club parking lots, and you can tell most people when they read the news, they see a headline, they have an emotion, and that's where it stops. Sometimes they share it on Twitter, you know, but like it's clear to me that people are not absorbing the pertinent details. They just absorb like whatever thing they have to produce. They have to.
Well, yeah, they want to they want what will give them the emotional reaction. They're not concerned about thinking about it. They want their emotional reaction so they can have their faux outrage. And when they can have their faux outrage, they can feel virtuous when they share it.
Hey, are these arguments before or after the
headlines and not the articles? They go strictly based on a headline, the catchphrase, just kind of like the very fine people hoax that was going around. That's all they needed was that headline and not complete the actual context of the real story. To exactly what Sean was saying with the fact checks false. That's all they need is, it was debunked, fact check false, even though you read back, while everything is true, if you take this and reanalyze it this way, then it's actually just slightly not true. So completely false. And that's all that people need, because it validates what they want to believe.
And of course, there's also the fact that there's such a vacuum in information that the information that proves what these people are saying wrong is just not getting out there. Like, did you guys see the address from, I want to say it was, one of the European countries, first one, but their prime minister came out and said that the reason why they want to send people to Ukraine is they know they're going to lose the war. They just want to keep Russia distracted.
Yeah,
they admitted that. They literally admitted that any man who goes there is going to die.
That sounds like Viktor Orban of Hungary, because he's the only one that
it was a woman, so
maybe she should eat then.
Well, then maybe Giorgia Meloni.
So hold on, real quick, time out. What are the Railify? I'm hitting this because I've got you here. This is like a unique opportunity, because you're a newsman, right?
I am.
So tell me, because you're kind of in this media space. What are the skills that like a regular person can use to get themselves informed while doing their best to not be propagandized by nonsense?
Oh God, you sort of have to have the rug pulled out from you a time or two. Like, So I mean, a lot of people have already sort of developed the skills, and they don't necessarily know that they've sort of done it on accident a lot, right? Where like a good example is this vaccine's 100% effective. What I meant to say was this vaccine's 90% effective. But actually what I meant to say was 80, 70, 60, 40, 30, not zero. And then when everyone's like, what? Zero? What do you mean zero? And they go, actually, we meant like minus 17. You're actually more likely to get it now. Whoops. It's AIDS. We gave you AIDS, right?
Hey,
so
it rounds up.
Crazy.
Yes. So a lot of people had the rug pulled out, and so they're sort of getting these muscles, and they don't even know it, or a lot of people, as Iron said with the Very Fine People hoax, right? You just play the tape, 30 seconds either way, get contact and the whole thing, and they go, oh, right. So we talk about like people like waking up, sort of being like, coming out of the Matrix, and it's like, why do my eyes hurt? It's because you've never used them before, and like that. Yeah, that's sort of the thing. Also, I fucking love that movie. But the point is, it's sort of happening because the propaganda is getting thicker and thicker and thicker, and it's to the point now where you can actually see narrative turns, right? Like a good example is Ukraine. I'm a bit of a nerd about that war, so I know lots about it. In the next couple days, all of that region of Russia that Ukraine invaded, Kursk region, will be, there's going to be like 3,000 to 10,000 dead Ukrainian soldiers, and Russia will entirely have their land back because they're in the cauldron, a military cauldron or a kettle. They're surrounded, and they're being closed in on, and that whole narrative about that. I mean, we had a story about North Korean soldiers. They were never there. We had a story about like chasing Russians away. I mean, it never happened. All of these things to sort of like boost up the narrative of what's going on over there, and a lot of people believed it. I mean, I don't know how many articles in like the Daily Mail and the Guardian and things like that I've read that's just absolutely like completely fictional, as if it were reporting on this war, but in the multiverse, some other Earth, Ukraine was maybe winning, but not this one. And so in the next couple of days, it's going to be a massive defeat, and then we're gonna watch this really weird shift because they have to shift, and pretty soon it's gonna all be about Trump. It's all Trump's fault.
Yeah, well, this is what I wanted to say is like I think a lot of the people are looking at the Ukraine war. A lot of these people are coming at it because they read Harry Potter, and the good guys always win, even if they're the underdog, and Ukraine are the good guys. But in the real world, the guy with the biggest dick wins. and Putin has the biggest dick. And here's the thing. It's like, well, you can't just conquer people. Actually, you can. See history. Expansionist wars. No, expansionist wars are very normal, right?
But let's also not forget that the real issue here is Ukraine is stealing land from Russia. That's what's going on. That's what kicked it all off, is they waved their dick around first. They started the measuring contest. Russia's just proving them wrong.
It was also, the killing of ethnic Russians, the banning of religion, the banning of language, and a lot of Nazis. So I mean, like, so as Theo says, those Harry Potter freaks, they like to have a clear cut good guy, bad guy, good guy always wins. But how do we know, if we're honest, how do we know that the good guy isn't handily winning right now?
Wait, Theo, actually, I don't think you realize how great of an analogy.
Good guy, and there doesn't need to be. Just because you don't like Russia doesn't mean you have to like Ukraine and their government and their.
That's right. You can hate both pancakes and waffles.
Neither is acceptable.
It's a zero sum. It's the fact that it's too much of a black and white situation where you have to be either one or the other. You can't just be against both. I mean, that's the problem for a group of individuals that are so about fluidity and that there's no binary. They seem to really like binaries when it comes to good or bad. It's one or the other. It can't be a gray area.
Well, there's actually, so they're all about fluidity, right? Well, like a river, they can only flow in one direction. Yeah. But also, your analogy of Harry Potter is actually a lot more spot on than I think you realize. Do you remember the whole issue in the 4th and 5th book about the Ministry of Magic? How they were controlling literally everything. Yeah. We never got to see any sympathizers to the ministry. We never got to see them. But what we're dealing with because remember, most people didn't believe Voldemort was back. They trusted the ministry. They believed what the Rita Skeeter's news site was pushing out. And that's all what it is. Zelensky is just Umbridge.
Yeah,
that's all he is.
Okay, Railify, I actually have something to float by you. Tell me what you think happened. I think that the election of Donald Trump was a bloodless coup, and it initiated a total paradigm shift in U.S. politics. Like, the left is acting like they lost a war, and I think they did. We just have a society where we're so conditioned to the peaceful transfer of power that we can do it without bloodshed. What do you think? Do you think I'm right about that, or do you think I'm close?
I would say that you're almost right, but there's something interesting with the word bloodless. Donald Trump was shot in the face, man.
Oh fuck! I forgot about that. You're right.
I shot in the ear. It doesn't count.
Really. No, that's true. People did get fucked up a little bit.
Yeah, like I mean,
bullet's a bullet, man.
But also, Corey Comparator, tragically gone. So I mean, there was and the shooter, fucking what's his face, I mean, so there was plenty of blood spilt in this, but it's basically they escalated as far as what they could, and if they could escalate further, I mean, where do you go after shooting? Well, they tried shooting again. Well, do you shoot again, or do you go even crazier with like a missile or some shit? Like they would go as far as they could.
Yeah, I've heard some kind of fringe left-wing podcasts kind of being like, well, we have to escalate and make it ugly for a few years, and that's just what has to happen. Like, they're kind of like, do that. By the way, these are people who fucking make their own deodorant from home and live in like a 1-bedroom apartment with 17 cats in San Francisco. They're the people in a fucking community college and haven't done a push-up since 1986, and they're on a vegan diet. And that's the people who are trying to initiate the violent throwdown.
And that should terrify you. That should be the scariest thing in the world, because these people genuinely, with every fiber of their being, they believe it. Like it is like it is their soy fucking like Gaia mission to do this, and that they are righteous and it is right, and they're genuinely crazy, and because
look.
The right wing, they know how to be disciplined. They know rules of engagement. They kind of know the military stuff, the paramilitary stuff, right? Where the left is they'll just start swinging with knives and shit and start assassinating, like that fucking dude in Seattle who took 2 in the chest just because he had a red hat.
Yeah.
So it goes back to like the domestic violence
on the table
incidents
at
at homes, like domestic violence incidents. You will see if there's like a man and like a woman, but like a small woman, like skinny, weak. You know what I'm talking about. She will always go nuclear off the bat, and they will like stab, throw, shoot, break, whatever. Like, and it's he's right. Like they're the smallest people and the weakest. But they're the most unhinged. That's the ones you got to watch and worry about.
Yeah,
because they will do the most damage if they're not being watched.
Yeah,
it's completely true. And the worst part is
the thing is they're willing to do it. They've already decided this is on the table. Just because they're the weaker, hey, well, we got, Bubba from the bait shop who's strapped and ready to go.
Yeah.
He's not there yet. He thinks that there's, reasonable ways to implement the change that's wanted. These people, they're losing, they're getting desperate, and they've already decided this is an okay and justified next transition in retaking power.
Remember, what they believe is that by not fighting, they are enabling and enforcing fascism. They truly believe in every fiber of their body that if they are not fighting, then they are complicit, but they don't even know what they're complicit in. They're too weak to fucking open a bottle of Soylent to get their daily fix, and yet they think they can come out here and make some kind of grand change. In reality, they saw that their lazy communist revolution failed. It was the worst kind of communist revolution because they only did it from a fucking keyboard and occasionally in a ballot box. It was mostly companies funding a big business, big
USAID.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hold on. You got to think, okay, from their perspective, these people, they're filled with like religious fervor. We can get to wokeness as a religion on another episode, but they're filled with this religious fervor and they've got all this rage and they can't do anything about it in the physical world. What's it got to be like to be just like chock full of impotent rage all the time? Is that why these people are so unsettled and why they're so easily upset about everything?
Yeah, they start fucking with themselves, whether it be like, their hair or the massive giant fucking things in their ears or like lip thingies. And they start, like, oh, you know what I need? Implantable horns. And
who they're angry at is themselves. And this is them trying to externalize that anger.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit reality too. Like, I think some of it is like shaking their fist at reality because it doesn't match their emotions. It's like anger I think of it as anger at God, but another way of thinking about it is like anger at reality.
Well, they're not really a part of reality, are they?
That's the truth. They're mad because their reality is being questioned. Like they want the lie to be true, and being confronted with the truth terrifies them.
They're immature. That's how a child thinks, and they're still children up here.
There's a great psychological term. It's called cognitive dissonance. It's when that you believe one thing and the world or your behavior disaligns with your beliefs, and they're stuck in extreme cognitive dissonance because they believe we live in Candyland.
Yeah, cognitive dissonance is actually, it can be physically painful. So when they say like words are violence, in some ways to them, it feels like it because when you're like, here's my words, it is fact, and you're breaking their brain. It's physically painful for them. You may as well have just
okay, that makes sense. So I have a story. So I had this woman kind of in the comedy community who she would go to open mics sometimes. And I didn't really know her at all, but she was like running around telling everybody that I was like a psychopath and a narcissist who like hated women and that she was a therapist. So she knew from my comedy. And bear in mind, this is not a person I know. I, to this day, do not know her first name. I kind of know what she looks like. I've seen her a couple times in my life, but she like made it her fucking life's mission to destroy me. And when I finally talked to her at a show, like, hey, can you stop saying horrible things about me? It's mean. She responded like I was gonna like eat her. Like she had like her levels of fear were just like wildly out of step with any threat that I posed in reality. I was just trying to figure it out. So what you're saying is my words magnified by the microphone and the fact that people are laughing and whatever, in her worldview, it's actual violence. That's how it feels to her.
Right.
And this also explains why they get body modifications so much. A lot of liberals, they dye their hair, they'll get the disgusting gauges, piercings all over the place. they're trans themselves up, and it's all because they know something's wrong. It's causing discomfort, but they can't figure out what. And because engaging with truth would be significantly more painful than these other things, they project their dissonance onto everything else and try to solve everything else instead.
Yeah, engaging in truth is hard. Is a harder thing to do than, I don't know, cutting your tits and your dick off. Who knew?
I gotta take a little bit of a stand here and ask Garza, what's your thing against Candyland? What's wrong with Candyland?
I ate too much, and I'm gonna blame them for having it.
Oh, hey.
Well, okay, that's
I'm gonna be a woman and project my insecurities.
So this is the thing. Okay, so there's my gripe with the left is that a lot of folks on the left think of politics like they have like Santa Claus politics, where you give unlimited good stuff to everyone forever, and if you don't, you're a big bad meanie and possibly Hitler. And it's like, okay, but resources are finite, and you have to have trade-offs, and life is complicated, and things cost money, and also the kind of help you want. Just because you try to help someone doesn't necessarily mean that their situation is going to get better. Sometimes you helping them makes it worse, and policy is like really complex. And it seems like you start saying stuff like that, and they get mad and call you a fascist.
Hey, you should when next time you get into a liberal argument, ask them: should we shut down farms? You would be surprised how many of them will say yes, because they believe we get food from the supermarket.
Yeah,
well, Europe is doing that right now.
Or
Like,
the
Europe
food.
is
My
doing
favorite
that.
one is when they say, well, the food comes from the land. The farmers are just the landowners. You don't need the farmers to produce the food. It comes from the land.
No, I had a friend who was like, I'd love to just like live in nature and make art, but because of capitalism, I have to work. It's like, no, but like these are people who've completely forgotten about saber-toothed tigers. You haven't seen a saber-toothed tiger in a while, but they used to be a really big problem. There used to be short. You know how big a short-faced bear is? It is bigger than a polar bear. Their jaws, they could put a whole human head in their jaws and just pop it. That's what nature is. We fixed it.
What is a short-faced bear?
It's
that's what you call a
historic bear that used to live in North America.
Oh, yeah,
and it's bigger than a polar bear, right? It used to eat people. That's what nature is. So to live in nature is to be a part of the violence of nature, which is to make yourself a victim. The reason we don't have to deal with that is because we have industrialized society. We fucking fixed it. We put a big piece
Well, the nice thing is
in
we're
the middle
going
of
straight
nature.
back.
We live there now.
We're going straight back to like communism, proto-communism. I might get the philosopher wrong, but Descartes specifically talks about man and nature, talking about the blank slate idea. It's how in nature humans are inherently good and isolative, and they don't abuse anyone, and like they don't raise kids. Kids just grow up really fast. And that is one of the foundational thought processes behind communism.
That's like the noble savage or whatever that.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
where because fucking we had that was taught to me in college where it's like when the settlers came to Canada or whatever, all the Aboriginals they were like, oh, really good with nature and all that stuff. It's like, no, there's only like 6 of them, and they didn't know how to destroy the land. If they did, they most certainly fucking know that they would.
Yep.
But here's the thing that really obsesses them, right? Every single human group wants to wage war, control the land, and kill off the foreigners. That's all any human wants to do. The only issue they just hate America because we're better at it than they are.
Yeah, I was talking about this at Thanksgiving. It was like, I was like, no, it's like, of course I celebrate Thanksgiving. My team won. What do you mean? Fucking just get good. This is a skill issue. What are you talking about? I don't know. And that's the thing. I think a society that hates its ancestors actually just hates itself. And I think what we're dealing with is just a lot of like self-loathing and it's like, this is like, so wokeness is a bug that latches on to Christianity and then rips it like a funhouse mirror. So like, okay, so Protestant Christianity is really guilt motivated. That's a big motivating force in Protestantism, which is kind of what what a lot of people who founded America were into, right? And you can kind of see that perverted to all hell in wokeness, right? And
See
the
that, yeah.
idea and the Christian idea of everyone has equal human dignity is how you get the idea of everyone should be treated equally. And then some people need to be treated more equally than others as sort of a compensatory thing, right? You see how it's like a funhouse mirror and kind of flips it, man? I don't know. It's ugly. And the thing is, it's not borne out in reality. That's my thing. It's like your beliefs, you're just going to have a bad time if you set yourself up in opposition to reality. You're just going to have a bad time forever. It's just that is never going to go well for you. And so it's like, and I feel like a lot of the people who run the media are people who, you know, have imbibed this belief for whatever reason, you know,
Well,
and so it's like, go ahead.
That is the core of socialism. It is a belief in human nature that is completely unfounded. And more importantly, is a belief in human nature that is based in personal selfishness. So Marx was incredibly selfish. He wanted to be on top, but because he was a member of the proletariat, he had to make the proletariat on top.
Yeah.
It's the only way to raise himself. Because in reality, the people on top aren't a part of the common class.
This is actually what I wanted to say. So we took a bunch of people and we sent them to college and we told them they were better than everybody else, and then we made them be baristas. I don't think that was a good idea. I don't think that was good for social stability, because now you got a lot of people who are like capped, who are stuck in the lower class, but they were told they were elites. So they're just like brimming with like resentment. You know, and I don't think that's a good thing we did to society. What do you got? Thoughts?
Well,
Panel?
so my wife is a farmer's daughter, and so pretty down to earth. And like she tells the story of how, or like she tells the story to her kids how when mommy was a little girl, she had a pet goat, that kind of thing, right? And so pretty down to earth. She spent like five or some odd years as like a Starbucks barista and like supervisor and all that stuff, right? So when you say like these people who go to college, university, and think that they're like fucking God's gift to like humanity, and that they have to like change the world with their ship, and all they can do is be like a barista, an activist barista, you're not. That's so spot on. Like the moment my wife could get out of there and get into her field, which is like teaching, she did. And she's like, well, I'm glad I left those fucking kids behind because they're the most insufferable people. They're awful. They're the ones that were like threatening to hold her down while she was like in her third trimester, being like, we're going to vaccinate you against your will because you're a danger to us. Like these people, they're just so fucked.
I thought pregnant women had bodily autonomy.
No,
I was
reliably informed that it was my body, my choice. That was what I was told.
Only if it's not vaccinations.
Yeah,
but you know, it's funny because this is what I deal with on a daily basis being in school. You know, I fucking hate it. But the real issues, what I talk about all the time, it's the fucking midwits. The midwit being the 115 to 125 IQ range liberals who think that they're in the 140s. They think they're geniuses because they're smarter than the average person, but they don't realize they're only a little bit smarter. So they know there's something wrong, but they're not smart enough to know why it's wrong or how to fix it. So they come up with this idealized fairy tale version of a solution.
Yeah.
it worries me that you said like 115 to 125. Because I'm like, I'm just like one step outside of that. I'm like, oh God,
it's coming for you.
That's what I am.
I never tried that, the IQ test.
Oh man.
So I usually score pretty high on IQ test, but one time I did get an 88, so I think that's the actual correct one.
I don't want to brag, but I did take the test and got a 165.
Was that the high end of? Let me guess. It was 100 to 165 was your result.
No. Asshole.
That's pretty. 165 is pretty good. I mean, I got 130. I'm like, I'm never taking another IQ test again. Just
so when I hit that, and I'm like, nope, I won. I'm done.
Yeah, I averaged out around 140 to 160. So.
What's the lowest you can make?
1.
I'll probably get like a 4 or 5.
I think the lowest a non-brain dead human can hit is like 60.
Okay, that's probably my base.
But fun fact, Nepal averages 40. I'm not even kidding. The average IQ in Nepal is 40.
Who's Paul?
What? And average is 100. Or I guess it's actually 95 now.
Well, no. So So the average is always 100. It cannot not be 100. But by using the United, because we average out IQ to 100. So whatever the average intelligence of an area is, it will be 100. If the area is smarter, then we make the test harder to average it out to 100. If the area is dumber, we make the test easier to average out to 100. The average score will always be 100. But by using the American test in Nepal, Nepalese people averaged a 40 on the American test.
Right.
Wow. So then the average IQ dropped 5 points to what was 95. And so I guess that means those who scored higher are now smarter than the new retards that are flourishing about.
New retards. I like that phrase.
IQ tests are not perfect, to be clear. They're not excellent. They're only like okay.
Yeah, they gave Emerald a 165 for fuck's sake. They're just handing these out.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is we need to get into Nepal so that we can educate them and boost their IQ.
No,
that sounds like white saviorism. Try again.
It's you know what's crazy is like I don't know. I guess like what okay, so with all of this shit that's going on, which is basically the world is just like lying to people all the time. It's just like a fire hose of lies all the time, and there's like nothing you can do about it.
Yes.
Like I think of one of the maybe one of the most rational things you could do is just like completely check out. You know, but I don't think that's good because, you know, I feel like if you check out, you're just like ceding the ground to the tyrants because the psychopaths and the tyrants and the power hungry, you know, cultural Marxists and the anti-human death cultists, they're not checking out. They're seizing the internet and someone has to resist them. But it's like, here's the problem. It's like sometimes I frequently have the thought I might be wrong about this. I should take that seriously. I should
Congratulations, you're a minority.
what I'm doing. I don't think the people on the woke side ever have that thought once. I don't think they have any ability to be self-referential. I don't think they can scan their own behavior at all. I don't think they can make changes to future behavior based on past experience. I think they're just emotional toddlers in adult bodies who are just like bumblefucking their way from one stupid idea to another. And they're blasting it online to an echo chamber of people who are like yas queening them.
You know, it's funny you say that because
they use phrases like "my truth." There's no your truth. There's only the truth.
This is like fucking demonic. It's so bad. You don't have. I can't even explain how bad it is if that's what we do.
But it's funny you say
so
that,
bad.
I had a friend like a few years ago who was super communist minded. Like him and I were on opposite sides. And one time I'm like, I legitimately asked him, do you ever think of the chance that you're wrong? And he dead ass said no. He has never and will never conceive of the thought that he might be wrong. Because honestly, if he's wrong, that means that he himself has to be a bad person based on his moral alignment. Being right is being good in the mind of a liberal.
Yeah, it's like a religion. It's a religion, right? Because then if they question that, they question it's not like, like you could say, I don't like waffles, and then you have chocolate chip waffles, and you're like, shit, I might have been wrong about this. These waffles slap, you know. And it doesn't make you a bad person just because you were wrong about that one thing. But for them, if they're wrong about this, they also lose their whole social circle too. They lose their whole, and they don't have any ability to internally self-regulate their emotions. So they lose their whole apparatus that they use to regulate their emotions.
And here's the other thing:
everything.
Their mindset is based on a Jenga tower. You push one thing out of whack, and you know what broke me out of the liberal mindset? Gun control. My dad asked me, what is the solution? And thinking about that actually shattered the illusion because I had to think about something for more than 2 seconds.
Yeah, dude.
That's awesome.
That's tough.
Normally I would say, well, you just take away all the guns.
Yeah.
Oh, of course a Canadian would say that.
How
does that work?
I think taking away all the guns is a terrible idea, and Canada isn't the leader in taking away all the guns. You need to go down to England or even Australia for that.
Yeah, but we don't have a Brit on the panel, so I can't do that.
But so I mean, stabbings in England are astronomical.
Yeah.
So then I think we had Idris Elba go, well, then I get in an interview just recently, he was like, well, I guess we take away the knives then.
He said,
then-
remove the round part. Just take this part off.
And then it's like, okay, so we're taking away guns. Then we're gonna take the knives. Well, what are we gonna kill people with next? Sticks with nails in them. And then we get into Simpsons fucking skit where we're just, it's
Nerf guns.
yeah. So I mean, then people are gonna kill people with shoes. Are we gonna take the shoes away? Like, no more stilettos for you, ladies. Like,
I'm okay with that.
Well,
It's cheating.
insanity.
Germany and UK has vehicle terror attacks all the time. That's all they need is a car.
Well, you know how badly Germany wants to take their cars away. They would love
Yeah.
that because if you have a car, you have freedom. Take away their car, you remove all avenues of freedom from somebody. But no, so I mean, honestly, back to in regards to the topic of how do we get these people to start, looking at their own news, we just have to get them to agree that one thing they believed prior was wrong, and basically walk them through that Socratic method, so that maybe next time they can do that themselves and start asking themselves if what they believe is true or not.
Yeah, I will say there is something to that. Like, I think if you just ask questions, and you don't even have to. I think the key thing is to just. This is something I've kind of talked about over the last couple of shows. Just because if you're going to have a discussion, if you're going to entertain a discussion with one of these people, just because they're emotional and upset doesn't mean you have to be. You do not have to match that energy. If you can keep your heart rate down and kind of like while they're just like blasting you, and you can just kind of like calmly ask questions, you're going to make a lot more progress there. And man, it's tough, man, though. Like, sometimes they're really mean and it gets very personal. I had a woman call me a mental rapist one time. And
Oh, wow.
Just tell her that you're safe.
I was like, your feelings are valid.
Well, you should tell her. You
At
said
that
your
point,
truth.
you gotta.
Your truth says you're not a rapist, so you should tell her that.
Here's the thing, I'm not. But
Here's the thing.
She was just like, I don't like when you encounter one of these people in the wild and they're just like completely disconnected from reality. It can be very, very. At some point, you just got to like take a time out and just walk away. It's because if you don't have to, there's no reason to. But like if you absolutely must engage with one of these people, it's unsettling. Honestly, it's
Well,
crazy.
one of the reasons why they always resort to invectives is that when you throw an insult out at them, you have to go on the defensive to protect yourself from the insult. And the moment you're on the defensive, they go on the attack, and you can't get that ground back. So if they insult you, you just have to like ignore it. Or make fun
Yeah,
of
you have
that.
to really not care. Like I had to just like this is something I had to deal with in comedy. I just decided I had to just decide not to care that people were calling me a misogynist all the time. I just had to be okay with it. I was just like, fuck it, you're right, I am. Fuck you. Because they weren't gonna stop. They weren't gonna stop, and it didn't matter. And it hurt my feelings a lot at first because it's like, no, you're just not listening to what I'm saying. You're not listening. This is just, you're just not listening. I can hear. I'll say it again, slower. I thought there was a way I could say it where they'd get it. And there wasn't. And I just had to, some people are going to like it. Some people are not.
It's like the
What?
Eminem song where it's like, I am whatever you say I am. Right?
Yeah.
So, like, Sean, you're literally Hitler. And so what? I like painting and I like dogs. What does it matter? Move on. You're a racist. So at least I still have my TV. You just,
They can call us racist, but they can't call us liars.
Sure, exactly, 100%.
Well, they've deleted all these terms because they apply them.
bro, Railify, the people you brought to the chat are fucking dope, bro. Y'all are welcome back anytime. Seriously.
Scott's a good egg.
Great.
Scott's a good egg. And Gina's here now.
Gina, what's up?
Damn, bro. It just don't sound right coming out of your mouth. Sorry, Iron, you were
It's a
saying
it's a
something?
throwback to last night. It's a throwback to last night.
No, I know, but it's still. Iron, were you saying something before we rudely
I was just saying that
interrupted
they've taken all those terms and they've watered them down to the point that they don't mean anything. Racist, fascist, sexist, misogynist, all the different phobics. None of them matter.
Yeah, I'm all
anymore,
that,
'cause
yeah.
None of them mean
They're
what they
badges of
originally
honor.
meant.
Yeah, dude.
Yep.
I don't know. And well, here's the thing. I think counterculture is cool. I'm sorry. We're at the point where like being cool. It's cool. It's a weird time culturally because right now, like it's it's countercultural to say that people should like get married and have kids and form stable relationships, and that polyamorous people are gross. I offended
literally
someone the other
committing
day.
genocide
Not
right
too
now.
long
So-
ago, I was riffing about how polyamorous people, you could always tell someone's polyamorous by the smell, whatever. I was just being really shitty to the polyamorous, right? And I actually offended someone with that, which I thought that was like a pretty fucking normal bit. I just got back from Portland, Oregon. So I was like on a tear about how gross polyamorous people are. And I actually offended someone with this. Like,
That's
this
awesome.
is, which is crazy.
That is
Because
awesome.
you know, I don't know. To me, it's like actually counterculture to say, you know what, being in a monogamous relationship is cool and you should do
Yeah.
it. And it's actually better for everyone if we just find somebody who's about our same level of mid and just pair up. Or in the case of Iron, date completely over your skis. Whatever. You know, I mean, this dude is not fucking around. There's a reason I'm bringing him everywhere. I'm trying to siphon his wisdom.
Self-acceptance, fellas.
what do you-
Self-acceptance. improvement.
What? Yeah, self-acceptance. That's important. Say more about that, panel.
Yeah.
Well, you see, I'm single, and that's just say everything you need to know.
Arza, that's a
Well, you don't
personal
accept
choice.
yourself. You don't accept yourself. That's
You have to understand self-acceptance.
No, that's what I'm saying.
doesn't
That's what I'm
mean
saying.
You don't want to improve. It just means accepting what you can't, kind of like an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Accept the things you can't change and work on the things you can.
Yeah.
And they're so simple that it doesn't take as much as most people think, because of going back to like last week's show, kind of the culture has drilled this into especially young men's heads that they have to be something that's completely unattainable. And that's so far from the truth.
Somebody's supposed to have a 6-pack, 6 figures, 6 feet tall, 6 inches, and also be a male feminist.
But
None of it's
that's
true.
the thing. It's
Especially
like,
the
okay,
last
this
part.
is something I talk about
No
all the
one's
time.
fucking
What
male
women
feminist.
say they want and what they actually respond to are completely, just ignore what they say. Because it's just never correct. It's what they feel, what feels good for them to emotionally say right that second. It's never a reflection of reality. Even if it's mean, that's just how they feel emotionally right that second. In 10 minutes, they're going to have different emotions. They're going to feel differently. She might just need a taco, right? That's it. Same with her liking you, by the way. If she's like, oh, you're so cute, she
Like-
might have a taco and be like, oh, I'm over it. You know, like,
Like, are you
that
talking
can
about
happen
like the
too.
food, or she needs to scissor for a
Yeah.
minute to
Sometimes
get out of
both.
the system?
Sometimes both, you know, but
I'll
like,
eat her taco.
God, all right. But the thing is, like, if you look at guys,
thirsty,
if you look at guys who are actually in relationships with women they like. I guarantee you're not going to see very many Bugattis. You're not going to see very many 6-packs. You're not going to see, you know, some of them will be tall, but not more than average. You know, like
Tall-
it's just regular ass dudes get in relationships all the time.
But
And
Boogie 298 is in a relationship. He's got a wife.
So Theo just drew the line in the sand. Below the bottom of the panel are in happy relationships with women we like. The top of the panel are not.
Okay, that was not intentional, but it did kind of happen.
I mean,
that way.
I met my wife. I had to beat up fucking 2008 Ford Escape. So you don't have to have a fancy ride or a fancy house. You can just
No. I got to say thank you to this one. Thank you.
Hey, actually, no. Go to the fucking gym, gentlemen. Actually, that's
Okay.
where,
I
go to the
hear
fucking
you.
gym.
I hear
Hey,
you
wanna
say
know
that dad
it's
bods are hot.
called
Go to the fucking gym. Go to
I
the
hear you
fucking
saying that dad bods are hot, but I look like I ate a dad.
Yo, hit our age and see how easy that is to keep that body up.
Oh yeah, man. I used to be like a fucking steroid junkie, and now, Dad, I'm
now
soft.
it's now you're a taco junkie.
Yeah, I'm all soft in the middle now. I mean, that's no matter what. Once you hit 40, that shit starts to leave you.
Yep. Your body starts changing and
Now,
you hit puberty all over again.
you can accept the natural course of aging to a point, but you need to always, like, I'm really guilty of it right now. I haven't worked out like I should in
Yeah.
a long time. I'm finally starting to try to get back into it. not just for appearance, but for health reasons as well. But a lot of couples hit that point of complacency where you see it with both parties tend to stop trying as hard. And that's can be really damaging for a relationship. So just remember, always try. If you put out, do the 80-60 rule. If you're putting out 80, then you know that other person's going to be putting out at least 60. And then there's less chance for boredom and, sadness along the way.
Look, all I heard is you saying that by not putting out, you will ensure happiness.
Right. Sure. Believe what you want, buddy.
Again, ours is single and looking. Of course, it's personal choice at this point based on comments being made.
Dude, it's hard out here for a pimp. I'll tell you what, man. It is not good. I've been in these streets, dude. I know what ours is up against.
Also, remember, you guys are all old people. You don't know what the market looks like right now.
It's tough, guys. It's tough.
Arza has double the options you two have, and he's still having trouble. That maybe he start looking inside instead of outside on that one.
Like, I feel like my wife and I got the last relationship chopper out of Saigon. Like,
yeah, that's how a lot of people feel right now. And that's. It's accurate. Like I don't know. I kind of have to just it's a lot of for me it's a lot of like accepting difficult realities. But I think there's still hope for Arza. I believe in you.
Now, Darnell, I have to ask. You said that given my double-sidedness that I should look inside. Do you mean I should look to improve myself or get a guy into my insides?
Yes.
Damn.
Yes.
Here's a question for
I need a soundboard for when people say shit like that. Oh God!
I'm just the bisexual MSK. It's okay.
oh, Arza, I fucking love you, bro. You're so.
So Sean and Darnell, if you guys were forced into single life again, would you even want to try, knowing what that life entails? Would you even put up? I've already decided if that were, it's never going to happen because I'm in a happy, healthy relationship.
And your wife is so lovely.
Yeah. So, but if I were, I would have absolutely no interest in even attempting that. I would just cultivate, friendships and everything else, and not even peek through the window of single, like that kind of bullshit. I want nothing to do with it ever again.
Okay, so I mean, if I I don't know, somehow found myself in a situation, I don't know, maybe there was, I don't know, an accident or something, knock on wood or something. Well, I'm just saying hypothetically, because that's the only way that's going to happen, right? I'm not gonna listen. I've been divorced one time already. That shit sucks. Okay. So I'm finally in a reasonable spot. So would I want to go through it again? No, I've done the I've tried like the Bumble thing before I met my wife, and that sucked. The old Plenty of Fish thing, that sucked. I mean, this whole online thing where maybe you're you have the most amazing person on your screen. They're just like a fucking unicorn is on your screen. But what happens if I swipe again? It's the paradox of choice. And so I don't want that because then how many people has that person swiped on versus the amount of people that they've swiped on? And it's just when you start to visualize that, it's all AIDS. I can't. I don't want to be part of that. I'll just stay home and I don't know, stream and play video games or something. I'd literally fucking, if I lost my wife, I'm fucking MGTOW. Right. I think.
Right. Okay. That's so I think it takes courage to still be out here swinging, I think it does. Not to toot my own horn.
Or you're just a sadist.
I'm mostly talking. Well, no, but also here's the thing. The other thing too.
No, I'm sorry.
I am a sadist.
That's
I'm both. I'm a sadist and a masochist. I'm both.
Oh, so Darnell, you've seen inside his closet then?
I've seen inside board in the closet.
Where's this? We're not talking about.
You can come join me. It's
closet.
okay.
We're not discussing the briefcase in my closet. We're not doing that. But I'll say this. Okay, so it's like part of that is like, but also my experience is not typical. Like in general, women treat me very well. Like usually when I speak to women, they're happy I'm there and they make efforts to continue the conversation. And that's not a typical male experience. So it's very easy for me to like women because I enjoy their company. They seem to enjoy my company, and it's easy for me to find women to hang out with. Now, with that being said, it is virtually impossible for me to find anything approximating like a values match that could potentially lead to a relationship. And it's not because I'm not meeting a lot of women. Like I'm meeting a ton, you know,
the quality of women you meet.
And it's like, I'm just like not, you know, it could be fishing in the wrong pond too. I mean,
geography.
You know, that might be it. It's
geography
so
and lifestyle.
but like, yeah, dude, it's tough. So I think like my thought on it is like, is it worth it? That's the big question. Because if it's worth it, then people should keep doing it. And you know, Railify, you have children.
I do many.
Is it
why pull out when you can just leave it in?
Oh God, don't do that. Don't do that. So it's like
I feel you.
I mean, I guess if you're married, do whatever you want. But like, just in general,
leave it in, boys.
No, I said meeting women. You can meet women without meeting.
I mean, it is the Pacific Northwest, so you know there is a lot of untamed bush lands here.
Oh,
in this area.
Oh my God.
Crunchy granola.
The armpit hair alone, my God.
Dude, that sometimes, dude, I saw, like, I don't mind a little bit of like unkempt armpit hair, but when you see that full bush under there, that's a political statement. That's, you know, she's telling you.
What?
She's putting Rogaine in there. She's putting Rogaine in there.
I couldn't handle any.
Really?
Nope.
I don't think I could.
None.
Most of the women I've met who have the hair don't wear deodorant either, so the smell comes with it.
The pheromones are just not worth that. Like,
really?
Call me old school.
This bothers you.
Old school, hi old school.
Yeah, it's just I can't get on board with that.
No, I'm on that caveman shit, dude. I want like.
So you like a nice meaty bush down there, then, eh?
Yeah.
So
you're pro
you've
bush.
You've essentially shown us you want this type of woman, but you're into this type of woman. You'll never get this type if you don't move past.
No, I get it.
This type.
No, I get it. Like what?
I think we zeroed in on your problem.
No. I'm not disputing that. Like I'm single because of my life choices. There's no getting around that. No. I like women that are a little bit feral.
I have to praise.
I like
Theo
girls.
here.
I like girls who fight and cuss, and you know.
I swear I can fix it.
You're kind of wanting like a kind of a morph up of just two very different personality types.
That's rare.
That's gonna be, you're really chasing a unicorn.
Yeah, I know. It's a problem. So what I really gotta do is just stop dating these like feral bitches and just like get somebody classy. But I don't meet many classy bros.
Well, okay, you get a classy broad, and then you teach her to lower her standards.
Right. That sounds good. That's gonna end well.
Oh yeah.
Do you think it's maybe you want the feral woman and then you want to gradually?
I have two divorces to show why ours that mentality is wrong.
Okay, right. Maybe maybe I should wean myself off of the feral, or maybe it's like I'm trying to tame the feral woman. I guess I don't know what you need psychologically there.
Go to a middle school play.
I get it.
Yeah,
go to a middle school play and
for real.
You want to find a woman you're looking for? Go to a middle school play and look for the single moms.
Oh, thank God, that's where you went. Holy shit, I'm worried.
I knew y'all were gonna fucking do that.
Wow, dude.
I knew y'all were gonna fucking go there.
Go to a middle school.
Go to a middle school play. Look for the single moms. You'll find the right combination of feral and what you're looking for in a single mom. I promise you.
No, so where's that at?
You know what I like about middle school girls?
Even if you're not trying to pick up a kid, you don't go to a school because they're like, "Excuse me, sir, why are you here? You don't have any children here." You're like, "Well, I'm trying to pick up." It doesn't matter what you say after that.
I'm just in a panel van like a clown handing out candy. What do you think I'm here for?
There's a few guys I noticed I go to the football games from middle school, and they picked up the single moms. They are taking home single moms.
I can't go to a middle school
working.
looking like I look.
No, just know the way you spot a single mom, the way you spot her, Just see if her kid's mixed, and then you know.
Oh Lord.
No.
Oh Lord, bro. Okay, so that one's gonna be a
You
Rumble only.
need to go to the football game in the South End.
Oh, fucking good.
Up where you're at, you showing up to a middle school is not event is not. No,
Wait,
come
hold
down
up.
to the
You
South
are
and you'll
true
find
there
it.
in
You'll
the
find a
Right.
good
If
South,
Theo
but
puts on a dress, though, then
it's
it's
a lot more
okay.
normal.
Okay, hold on. This is actually important. This is
Yep.
it's a Nate, friend of the show. Okay,
I love
That's how I
Nate.
met
He's a
my
good
wife.
here's the
That's how I
thing.
met my
This
wife.
is okay, but here's the thing. Pause. Time out on that. Time out on that. So finding your wife on a dating app is like losing weight using DoorDash. You can do it,
Yeah.
but it's not
I
the
know.
intended
It's the
purpose.
exception,
right?
not the
And
rule.
results not typical. We got to keep that in mind. For a guy like and for I think a lot of people agree with Nate that like it's just the juice is just not worth
Yeah.
the squeeze.
No.
And basically what you're telling him is it's going to be excruciating, it's going to feel terrible, but it is worth it, I promise. And yeah, I don't know, but it is going to be really tough for a lot of these young guys out there because they're just going to be like, pissing up a rope the whole way. It's going to be like hip deep in horse shit the whole way. They're gonna have to deal with people who are rude, people who are emotionally immature, a lot of like kind of like really awful, rejection, and what they get in exchange may not offset that. And it's like, I kind of understand where he's coming from. Now, I think the growth experience makes it worth it, right? The person you become in the process of bettering yourself to try to, so what we were talking about last week, the person you become in the process of like bettering yourself for your partner, I think is worth doing. I think having somebody to push back against and like kind of like help you with growth is worth it. But as like purely as a value proposition, I don't know if dating is worth it. I don't know if it's worth it if you frame it that way.
Well, you give him 1 night of pleasure and then 7 years of emotional destruction. It's a perfect trade-off.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't think it just doesn't, I don't know. I think it's the way we're framing dating that's the problem. Because it's like, you get this, I get this, and do. It's like, yeah, that's a part of it. But there's also all these like intangible factors of like the actual growth experience of adapting. First of all, life is a team sport. So the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And also kind of,
the whole is greater.
Like my second wife, I brought that up to her. I said, look, I want to be part of a team. We're supposed to be a team together. And she said, I don't want to be part of a team. That was right there. Okay, this is done.
Yeah.
This is done.
Yeah.
But dating is not like it used to be. Dating, you'd meet people who physically attract you. I know people say looks aren't important. They fucking are. If you didn't know what a person looked like, you wouldn't go talk to them. So
explain blind people then.
Oh, shut up. There are other senses. They use their other senses to find what they like. So you find someone physically attractive. There you go. Find someone physically attractive to you. You meet them. You start finding things you'll have in common, and you start enjoying that person's company. It's not like now. Now dating is like, who's the most victimized? Oh, I was victimized like this. Oh, my dad did this. Oh, I did this happen. It's about one-upping the other. It's no longer about connecting. It's about being the most victimized. So you need to take care of me.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit about like people go into it like they're going onto a car lot. Like they're trying to get as much as they can and give up as little as they can. And also liking somebody is an L because it tilts, because relationships are about power dynamics. So if you like somebody, then that's like considered a sign of weakness, which is just a recipe for a lifetime of unhappiness. And it's so fucked. And so it's like, I don't know. It is going to suck, but like do it anyway, I guess. That's such a lame message, but that's kind of what it comes down to. It's like, yeah, sometimes people are going to lie to you and be mean to you and cheat on you and all that stuff, but it's worth the risk to actually get a relationship. Whoa, Strider's here. Speaking of
subtle.
He threw off the whole dynamic.
Hopeless divorced men. Speak of the devil and he shall appear. What's up, buddy? Do you think the juice is worth the squeeze? Okay, you hear that pause? You guys hear that? That's what I'm talking about. That's the zeitgeist.
I'm sure it is, but I have yet to have any kind of results at all. So I don't even know.
Yeah, so we're just out here running on faith, dude. That's what I'm saying. Is like it takes so much more. I'm either way stronger or way stupider because I'm still out here swinging dick at my big age. Try to like make this
But
happen.
you're swinging it at the wrong. You're swinging at
I'm 35. Piss off.
You're swinging at a specific demographic that you've stated doesn't work.
That's who likes me, Darnell. I gotta take who will have me.
Go to a middle school play.
Oh my God!
Here's the thing. I live around a lot of middle schools. A lot of them Catholic.
do it.
There's got to be some suppressed. There's
Don't
got to
do
be some
What?
suppressed, dickless mom out there.
Not gotta be. There is.
Come on, Strider. You're in the right age range. Just go on a Facebook Marketplace and see who's selling a wedding dress. That way you can sort by size.
That's brilliant.
God
Actually.
damn.
Or
how do
like
you-
divorce
what do you do
sale.
with the? But like, what do you do with the kids? Like, because how does that work?
Um,
I'm picking up single moms. Like, I'm not into being a stepdad. So what is
I
that?
would. Well, then stop.
That's
stop
what iPads
going
are
after
for.
them. I mean,
No.
iPods. What is this? 2002?
iPads. I said pads.
no, but look, I know.
What is
Look,
this,
you think about
2008?
it. If that's such a thing, it's such a thing. But if there's a kid involved, we're talking about lack of father figures in kids'
Yeah.
lives.
I'm not looking
If
to
you
be-
find yourself into someone who does have a kid, take your time to meet the kid, and then when you do, try and be a good influence on that kid. Show
Yeah.
the kid the type of person they want to meet when they get older, or be
Yeah.
when they get older.
Like I've had
No,
this
Yeah, that's a
conversation with
weird
myself, like,
situation because
yeah, like
you're
would I ever
ultimately going
want
to be in a
with-
relationship with her and the
Right.
kids eventually.
And
if it
that's-
goes in the
that was
direction
my
you want. You
last-
have to be prepared for that.
And that
My
was my
second
last
wife-
relationship. That was my last relationship. She had 3 kids.
Also, like the other thing too is like if you're dating a single mom, like she wouldn't be dating you if she didn't have kids. Like if she didn't have kids, she could date someone better than you, and she kind of knows it.
No,
It would
no,
also-
like,
no,
you know what I
see,
mean?
No, I disagree
I've
with
had
that. I
this
disagree with
conversation
that.
You know,
myself.
there's another
Technical
option.
disagree with
is
that.
value.
I
is,
mean,
you
this
know.
is using game theory, right?
It's wrong. That's wrong because look, most women the women I run into who have kids who are not completely unhinged. They are single because they have a kid. They don't want to just bring some random guy in their life. So if they bring you into their life, that means they see something very valuable in you most of the time.
That
Most
was the
of the
case
time.
with my relationship with her. It's just it got to the point where I did not see a future with the relationship.
Yeah.
And on top of that, one of the kids was getting to the point of starting to call me dad. And I'm like, I have to end this now. Otherwise, either I'm going to get stuck in this relationship and feel
And that's what happened to me.
a need to sit there to support the kids, even though
Yeah.
this relationship's gone nowhere, or we're going to get later down and it's going to be more devastating to the kids when then I end up taking off. So it's like I ended it at that point.
And I had that situation. I stayed and I had multiple kids.
So I do have to represent this perspective. This is if I could steel man Nate's position, I think it is a little weird loading up another man's save file. No.
No.
Look, okay, to my point of that is it is our
it-
job as
it
men
depends.
to teach boys how to be men.
Well,
The
if you
problem
look
is,
at
though-
it, no, I'm sorry. Go on, Arza.
That's
The
the best
issues
way I've
now.
ever heard
Nate
that
does have a
explained.
good point. In Gen Z, there are a lot of single women because women were taught that there are no responsibilities for her actions, and all of these single women, what they want isn't someone to raise their child. They want someone to babysit so she can go back out partying.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think there is some of that. Yeah,
There
there
Look,
is.
some of that.
if you go out with the mentality that all women with kids are ruined or they're just some other man's save file, you're gonna miss out on a potentially really good situation, really good relationship.
Yeah,
I think
I've
I'd say take it
depends
case
on
by
the-
case.
actual success stories.
Take it
It
case by
just-
case, like,
I've also
yeah.
seen the latter and the really unsuccessful ones as well.
Yeah, dude.
It definitely depends on the case. Like for me, because I've had this conversation with myself, realizing that, well, at 35, the likelihood of me running into somebody who already has kids from previous relationship or previous marriage are probably pretty high. So I have this conversation with myself. It depends on if the other guy is still in the picture. I will date a widow, absolutely. I might even marry a widow, but I don't think that I don't have the capacity to deal with a new spouse, B, another kid that's not mine, and C, another party in there who could lay claim to the kid that I don't have a claim to, because I'm having to not only share parenting with another person, and that's an uphill battle as it is. and then to have to share parent. Well, just for me at least. I'm just saying for me because I'm not a parent. I've never been a parent. My niece, the only kid in my life right now is my niece, a whole state away. So like being a parent already would be very difficult because I'm not having raised this kid. It's a whole new relationship. But then you have a third and another parent in the picture, and I have no interest in being a co-parent with the
Damn
other
it.
I don't care how good the relationship is between the between the mom and the father. It's just not something I want to do.
And that's absolutely fair to feel that way. Just you could be missing out on something really awesome if you just bend a little on that and see hey, it may work out. Sorry.
Right. Unfortunately,
you're right. And maybe it would have to the situation would have to be perfect in order to even entice me. And that would be just because I know my limits and I know that I adjust to things rather slowly. That's just how I'm built. And if it would be like being shoved in the ocean with no swimming lessons. You know what I mean?
Right.
With this conversation, I kind of thought that hey, you guys just gave me an app idea for dating app for widows, and so I searched it, and damn it, it's already taken. So there goes my $1 million idea.
No, where?
Well, you can
let's see,
widows.singles.com.
There is widowsdating.site.com.
Just go for the hottest one that has the most dead exes that all died under suspicious circumstances.
Yeah, they all.
I'm okay with that.
Angie's List. Let's see what
Angie's List.
Honestly,
Go ahead.
if you told me that there was a girl and I was gonna go out like a praying mantis, I'd go for it. Bigger than me, will have the best night of my life, and then she'll bite my head off. I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Okay,
we'll
but you're
that's your
under
problem.
the assumption that it's going to be the best night of your life. What if it's an absolute
disaster?
disaster?
If it's a praying mantis type situation, it'll be my last night as well.
That is such a sharply descriptive version of the devouring mother that I'm kind of like staggered by it. Dude, you just gave us a peek into your subconscious that I wasn't like emotionally ready for.
Well, no, because praying mantis, right? Praying mantis is the females are bigger than the males.
No, I got
When
it.
they finish sex, they need a snack afterwards. They literally eat the male.
Well, the male doesn't want to die. He tries to fucking escape, but
Well, yeah. Usually male praying mantis would bring food.
Okay,
to give
idea
to the female
for an
after.
animated movie: a male praying mantis.
Hey, there's your app. Moms of middle schoolers.
I'm not even touching that one.
No, just so that. By the way, just so the FBI knows, the views expressed on the Touchcrad podcast are not the views of Theo Snodgrass. We don't. We don't.
So I assume for that
He doesn't want a quality woman. He wants a quantity woman.
Well, this is my issue. So let me because I kind of am reaching this point where it's like I should probably try to just get in. Like I am gonna have to accept a relationship that is in some way suboptimal, right? Like that's a necessary thing, and it's like I should probably, figure. I mean, that's the thing. Is like I got to deal with what's left. The first round draft picks are taken. I'm looking for people who've been bounced from their rookie contract and haven't been hurt too
You're
bad.
looking at it wrong, though.
I don't know
In my
about that.
opinion, you're looking at it wrong. You're looking at it as everything is like you're doing exactly what you're accusing the women of doing right now. I just figured it out. You want that perfect optimal. Like I won't settle till I get this. Well, sometimes you gotta get this to it becomes.
Yeah,
optimal.
but dude, I haven't met anybody who's like okay, my standards are not obese,
breathing, and they want to be
not actively employed as a prostitute, and not a bitch. Like those are my three inflexibles.
No kids, and they can't have done this. They can't have done.
No, I'm just playing devil's advocate.
You're aiming for here. You need to come down here.
These are my standards. You're telling me which one of these. Let me ask you, Darnell. Which one of these three standards is holding me back? Is it the obesity,
what are they again?
the bitch, or the actively employed as a prostitute? Which one is killing me?
Maybe
What's
go
killing
bitchy
my
sometimes.
Yeah,
As long as she's bitchy in bed, that's fine.
yeah.
Probably actively employed as a prostitute. That'd be
No,
my
but
guess.
That's the one that's killing me. I think I should.
No, there's more you mentioned, not just today. Like, I'm not saying you got to accept someone if they were a hooker before or only times before, but like, be a little more like, okay, so you're this. I'd like to find out why. why this happened.
Yeah, why?
may be like, oh, well, shit.
Look, I have the most
Jesus.
unmeetable standards. Okay, I have the most unmeetable standards. Just they have to like me.
Breathing?
God damn, that's so sad.
But no, and well, I
Breathing
mean,
and human.
You're also like it was mentioned earlier. I think Aaron mentioned it. Your geography. Your geography is also a huge factor in that too.
Yeah, you're right. I
keep
can't seem
thinking
to
the
find
South.
any women at the bars I go to. There are none there.
Check this. Look, the South has some very, very quality women. The kind of women you talk about, there I see them everywhere around here.
Yeah,
I'm
that might
in
be a
the
problem,
South,
too.
Darnell.
You are not. You are not. Tennessee is not the South.
I'm not in
Kentucky's not-
Tennessee.
Kentucky's not the South. If that's the case, Los Angeles is in the South. It's not the South.
Kentucky's
It's almost
half
the north.
the South.
No,
Arizona's not in the South.
Well, it's Southwest, but like we're middle South, like Texas, Louisiana. We're Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma. We're
Like the
we're
Midwest-
category all our own.
Kentucky,
I mean that, you know, I
Tennessee,
met my
Oklahoma's not the
wife
South. I'm sorry.
You know, I've got to
Yeah,
ask
it
Morning
is.
Mayhem. He said that all the good
Midwest,
women are in the
Arkansas,
South. You're hogging
Oklahoma,
them.
Missouri.
Is that you're feeding them to turn them into hogs, or?
Yeah.
Because I see the body weight demographics.
That's the thing is like I was thinking about that. It's like maybe I don't know. I have noticed, dude. I mean, I've gone cow tipping a couple of times, and I will notice the big ones treat you better. So, I was
Well, that's
thinking-
because you just have to
joke.
feed them.
A buddy
Right.
makes a joke.
You
The
just
big
gotta
women,
keep
the
them
big
fed.
women will treat you
Keep their
better
blood
because they know
sugar
they're gonna try
compassion.
harder. So they try harder in bed. They try
Yeah.
harder in person.
So that
I
might
mean,
that
that's
might be
mean,
the
but
thing
he's not
that's holding
wrong.
me back. I really don't know, dude. I mean, it's like not. I promise you, like I'm meeting people.
What
It's
is
just
considered
like-
obese for you?
Well, like a size
That's
85.
subjective. It's subjective. You have to ask. I'm
Yeah, it
asking.
depends on. It's a case by case, man.
Some people I know say 170 is obese is too big for them.
Not if she's 6'2".
No, I'm not like 5'6". Like the ones I've seen chicks with 170, 5'6". They don't look bad.
Well, yeah, I mean, it depends on. Everybody carries their weight differently. Human bodies are different, but like
You know
it
how
is-
I define. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know how I define obese? If she can go on a hike, that's it. If she can't
Fair
go
enough.
on a hike, she's fucking obese.
No,
Fair
and
enough.
I listen. If I obese is a mindset. So
What if they have
you're
a mobility
if you're,
scooter with big
like if-
wheels on it? They can go
Yeah.
hike.
Well, no, here's the thing.
ATV
If you're gonna unironically talk about body positivity, then this probably isn't gonna work. You know, like
Yeah.
so it depends. Are you culturally obese or are you,
Actually,
just fat? If you're just fat, live with it. But if you're like, intellectually obese, we can't. Like if you've got cultural identity capital wrapped up in the concept of your own obesity, then I can't fuck with you.
What about the new Lizzo who's still bigger, but she's trying hard?
Bro, here's the thing. I fucked with old Lizzo. I was one of the celebrities that I was confident if I met her in a bar, I could get her back to my hotel. I was 100% sure. If I met
guys weren't calling
Lizzo,
for Lizzo.
I'm smashing that night. And now that she's lost weight, I'm even more sure. Bro, she's feeling herself, dude. Now is the time to smash.
I was like, oh, hello, new Lizzo.
Yeah, dude.
What's the problem with
The
Lizzo?
problem is, bro, she's got that loose skin like a flying squirrel. That's the thing you got to worry about, though. That's the thing. She could jump out of plane and just like land herself now.
Right?
That's real.
Just start being a crime fighter.
That's right, dude. Bro, and she makes her employees eat like bananas out of like a stripper's like butt or whatever. I was like, that she got sued for that. I was like, that sounds like a great place to work. What are you talking about?
Hey,
She's
I
like,
feel. I
Dude,
can't.
actually,
Okay,
I feel.
Theo.
I can't find a chick, but if you eat a banana out of the butthole, it's a great place to work.
What if it's a
That's
guy?
what I'm saying.
What if it's a guy? Oh, stripper.
I will say this much: I'm glad Sean did not show up in his banana costume for this episode.
Bro,
Yikes!
Guess who's going to get the banana now?
Yeah,
bro,
no,
that
no,
might
no.
be. Listen, that might be how I meet my future ex-wife. Is eating a banana.
What, okay, so you find them where you're not really looking, right? So I mean, if you
What does that mean?
well, okay, all right.
Go
I
to
found my
places you
wife-
don't go.
I found my wife at a fucking
Like a
bar.
middle school.
What does it mean? If I'm
Go to
going
middle
I
school.
go to the place. What does
Okay,
that mean?
no, okay, so I wasn't
You're
looking
really
for a wife
pushing
at a
this middle
hardware
school
store.
thing.
Go to high school.
Yeah, if you don't mind him a little older, that is.
I'm going based on
Dude.
Theo's age group. His age group of moms at single moms at middle school are his age group.
No,
They the
Theo,
type of freaky
Theo.
chick he wants.
I don't
You
think
just
that's
left to
true.
teach a Pilates class. That's it.
Oh, yoga.
Hot
for
yoga,
me,
hot
for
yoga.
me, in this all this case, then it's me going to college to meet college moms of the students, because that would be about
Go
my
for it.
age. I think.
The day they move in. Go to the day they move in. Say
gotta
say
say,
you drop your
college-
kid off, and you meet. There you go.
Hey,
Are you feeling sad about leaving your child
start with a
behind
lie.
here at
That's
college
what
for the
I
first time? Hey, let's go get a drink.
We'll do the 1-2. You get the mom, I get the girl. Easy.
There you go.
Honestly, dude, older women, it's just easier because they don't fuck around. It's
They
you
don't have
can
much
just like
time
be
left.
super direct.
Because they
with
don't
them.
have,
So
yeah,
it's
they
like-
don't have the time to fuck around because
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
just-
they've got one
it's
foot
just
in the
easier.
coffin and the
No,
other
so-
on the banana peel.
Oh, yeah. My first kid, I was 31 when I had my first kid. I was old. I was late.
But yeah, I met my wife at a hardware store. Gina met her husband playing Halo. Like, it's weird, but you weren't expecting that, were you, Gina? And so, like, yeah, a lot of people who end up meeting their spouse on like Tinder or some shit, they weren't expecting it. They're just looking to to fuck something, and they it's where you're not expecting to find it. I mean, it's stupid that it works that way. Because if
Yeah,
you want
right.
it, you're kind of expecting it
It's like-
everywhere, and then
Okay.
a pot never.
This is the other thing too, is just like the rules of engagement for human interaction in public have shifted really dramatically, and speaking to strangers is a lot bigger of a risk than it used to be.
Well,
And-
it's
And
what we
also,
talked-
social
we-
skills have retarded significantly too. So a lot of times you speak to people, they don't know how to handle it.
what's what
like,
we were
that's a
talking
real thing.
about last week with the being able.
Passive
Let's see,
risk.
Darnell, Iron, myself, we're of that age where we can walk up to someone and start talking to them. Older generation has an easier time of just walking up and talking to people. Younger generation doesn't. It goes back to what we were talking about last week.
Yeah.
It's like I said last week, you guys are all trying to teach people in my generation steps 20 through 25.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah, you
still
guys
learning
gotta-
step 10.
You guys got to like remember where the social skills are at. Like they've retarded really significantly. Like especially since COVID and the phones and the way schools started really dropping the ball and the enshittification of America is hitting hard.
Go
Right,
for older women. Go for older
And
women.
they've taken away
Oh,
your
God.
ability.
Okay,
to
so,
socialize.
look.
PR has removed. You can't ask a girl out at your workplace. That's against the rules
Yeah.
now. Rules engagement against in the gym are consistent. Everybody, like you were saying, Theo, just eyes straight, focus on what you're doing, and get the fuck out.
Oh, yeah,
It's
gym
like,
would
what
be
are the
bad
other
place for
options?
that now.
Yeah, and like that's what I'm saying about this comment here. Respectfully, this is grossly out of touch with where the zeitgeist is right now. And I hate to say that because this is like a totally innocuous suggestion that definitely would have worked even like 5 or 10 years ago. But like right now with where people are at, you're taking a big social risk that may not be worth it. And so I don't know the fix for that. My fix right now is I'm just going to date e-girls from now on. I'm just going to invite girls on my podcast. And if you have a vibe, I'm going to fly them out from fucking Colorado or wherever.
You can't complain
And
about the
we'll
type
just
of
do
woman
that.
you're meeting if that's what you're going for.
Well, I'm also like the kind of man people complain about. So I have to factor that in. Like I talk about this all the time. I'm the male version of an OnlyFans creator. I have a podcast. I do comedy. Like I'm the male version of that type
Look,
of red flag.
I know.
You know,
I said go up to
if
older
you're on a
women.
date with a woman, here's a
Merch
pro tip. If
store
you're on a
that
date with a
doesn't
woman,
work.
do not say you have a podcast. They're not into it.
Yeah.
Good to know.
No, you said I said to older women, you kind of like rolled your eyes and started to say something, but I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong.
Okay, well, here's
Go
the thing.
after an older woman. You'll see. You can approach him in a store. You can
no,
approach him at a gym.
Okay, look, my twin sister, her boyfriend is twice my age. I don't want to be like her.
No,
I'm not saying go after someone that old.
No, I'm saying I've fucked a ton of older women, and I'm all for that. That could be like an instructive experience for a young man, whatever. It's a perfectly valid life experience. I'm not like dismissing any of that. But if we're talking about like forming like long-term monogamous relationships that are compatible and are going to lead to children being born, which is the fucking goal, because we don't do that, we don't have a society, then it's just like you're just shooting blanks basically. You're just jerking off if you're fucking.
I'm not saying go
that's
after
cool
a
for
woman in her
kids,
40s.
you know,
Like,
but
go a little bit above your age.
no,
Or
that's
go
really
7
stupid
years
advice.
younger. That's
stupid
what I
advice,
did.
respectfully. Like,
Yeah,
because,
don't know.
okay,
I want a girl.
that's stupid advice, respectfully. Like,
I want a
women
girl
are-
that has kids. I
not.
can't date over 26.
No, it is. Like, women
The
are
type of
okay.
woman
So
you're
listen,
talking about is it exists a little bit older than you. They
no,
do.
but what I'm saying is like, okay, like that, like women who are a woman who's older than, like a woman who's 5 years older than a man. That's a bigger age gap than a man who's 5 years older than a woman, right? Because of how humans develop. Like
can
that's a
actually agree with that.
significant age gap, and those relationships over time lead to a lot of dissatisfaction. It's really hard to make that work. It's really hard to make that work just because of the way men and women relate to each other. Like a woman's got to be able to kind of like look up to you a little bit and feel like she's winning. And that's a lot easier if you're like close in age or a little older. Not saying it can't work. I'm saying, but if you're going to shoot like 5, 6, 7 years older as a guy, you're putting yourself in a position of she's always going to be frustrated with you. She's always going to feel like she's mommying you
If
a
you
little
look at it
bit.
that way, you will.
And that's going to erode the relationship over
If you look at it that way, you
Wait,
will.
but what if she's into that?
Okay, now
I
I'm
don't
getting
think she
depressed. now I'm getting depressed because I'm doing some math here and looking at it. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, they had a pregnancy scare back when I was 19, which would make if she had a kid and let's say a daughter and I had a
Bingo.
daughter
This is the
now
sweet
I'm
spot right
about-
here.
let's say so she would be about 23 now, and let's say she got married at about 20 and already had a kid. I would be looking at dating grandmas already.
So?
So what?
Just no. It's just something I'm aware.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
the passage of time is fucking with me right now. Okay.
I got you. No, but
All
the
right.
women you're describing, Theo, are what I'm saying, a little bit older, and they don't necessarily. You're going into thinking they're automatically looking down on you because you're younger, so they could be mothering you.
No, I'm
That's
just
not
going
entirely
based on
true.
human nature. That's
That's
just how
not
humans are.
okay. Human nature. It almost
That's
be
just
thrown
how
out now with people's experience. It almost be. I know I argue for nature when it comes to like criminal, not criminal, and stuff like that. But like I'm against like that thought process because there are women who are older than guys and don't look down on them. The guy provides like he would be if he'd be our age, and they fucking work well together.
I know,
It
but
can
like,
happen.
okay,
Sure.
but I know, but let's say, but like, also, let's say we want to. Let's say you're a guy who wants to have children. Do you think it's really smart if you're like 30 years old to date someone who's like 38 or 39 if you don't
No.
have any children and you want some? Do you think that's
Go
smart?
35. Go 35.
Even that? Do you think that's smart? Because I kind of
Go
don't.
22.
My wife was almost 35 when she had our son.
No, but to be fair, that is a pretty big minority of women.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like you're arguing
they're
from
there.
exceptions, dude. Like I'm talking
It's
about.
this is kind of a post hoc argument from your part, Darnell, I think.
A what? I
Because
couldn't
a
hear you, what?
post hoc, it's a post hoc argument, basically after the fact argument.
Yeah.
Because did you know that when you got with your current wife that she would have a healthy child if you guys had a child?
That wasn't a concern because I thought she was awesome as shit. No, that wasn't a concern of mine.
But so then, if you guys didn't have another kid, would that have upset you? Would that have been a deal breaker? So that's the thing. Theo and I are talking it from having kids is kind of a deal breaker. That's something that we need to have someday. And so if Theo goes for a 35-year-old, there's a very real chance he'll get a 35-year-old who's already infertile. There's no
Okay. Let me ask him real this. I'm gonna go and I can ask Strider this, what maybe even Sean too. So
Yeah.
I always wanted kids my entire life. I was like, I want to have kids. You know, the whole extend your legacy, all that shit. But at the same time, I sat there and said, I can if I meet someone with a kid, I cannot love that kid as much as if I was a male or my own. I got into that situation. I realized, holy fuck, I'm wrong. I do love this kid as if they were my own, and I would have been happy with that kid being my child, my kid I had. That would have been enough for me.
Sure.
Well,
You know?
sometimes you just want to keep your own cum as a pet, not somebody else's cum as a pet.
No, I want to address this comment because I think it's right. Basically, like starting a business is risky. Basically, talking to a woman is risky, but downstream of that, the risks the future happiness, it could be blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I think what a lot of people in like the millennial and Gen Z generations are saying is that you're talking about the future of lifelong happiness and that could be the potential reward on the horizon. But I think what a lot of us have seen play out with relationships is something very different. I don't think a lot of us saw that. And I think that is what people, I think it's not that the risk, I think the risk is not the only factor that's keeping people out of the market. I think it's also the fact that the rewards are not what was promised either.
If
And
I can circle it back,
I would agree with that, because you don't know what you don't know whether or not you're gonna actually get out what you put into it, and this is a significant investment.
But that's
And
what
I've been on the receiving end of not getting out what I put into it, because I nailed it as a husband. I was fucking awesome
okay,
at it, but it wasn't enough to keep
right,
anyone
same.
around it, but it's not my fault. But it's one of those things where going back into it is something I now have to think about. Am I investing? And it's a huge risk. And I understand if someone has been incredibly burned by it, I understand why they wouldn't want to go back into the house. I'd risk it may burn down. You know what I mean? And I don't condemn it. I don't see things that way. I mean, because it's definitely caused me to be way more picky, and I guess a little, I don't want to say gun shy, but it's certainly that's something I'm having to, until I have like overcome that gun shyness. Probably not a good idea, because I can't fully invest in anyone. I can't open myself up to invest in anyone. So I think it kind of does revolve around your mindset.
Well,
Here, if I can
get it,
circle
but-
back a little bit, the world you guys are describing is like communism. You are describing Candyland to me. You are describing that fictional world that I cannot fathom existing, because I have seen very little proof of existing in my generation.
Yeah.
That's a you thing then, because if you can't imagine past this, that's on you. It's there. You just got to find it. I get where you're coming from, the being gun shy, but it goes back to what you said, Arza, about you, Theo, about like people called me this and this and this. And I finally just said, yes, I'm this. You're defined by your experiences. If you're gonna have an experience like this and you're like, shut down, fuck it, I'm doing that's not you. You need to get back up, be like, fuck this, I'm going to get what I want. It's not the same thing, it's the same kind of like mentality. Like, you own people calling you shit. You're like, fuck it. It doesn't bother me anymore. Right. I had the same thing as you. I worked full time, took care of the kids full time. I cleaned the house. I did everything. I nailed it as a husband. She decided she wanted.
I just want to say, Morning Mayhem, you have found the right show, brother. I'm so happy you're here. I am so happy you're here.
I can review that. Yeah, absolutely.
Don't worry. I'm slowly smuggling in Christian themes to my secular audience by hiding it behind profanity and
You bastard!
Yeah, I'm slowly
you're trying to convert
Holy
me.
Mother Church. It's happening, baby.
But I guess, okay, here's another allegory I can give. So
he's Melanie Mack of the comedy world.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Almost as hot.
That's my kind of crazy. I put a baby in her.
If Melanie Mack ever let
I don't know if you could. She's 40.
Go,
No,
man,
well, I'm getting by the deadline. I will listen. Well, I'll work overtime. I will hump the shit out of her.
Wait a minute.
Oh.
Oh my God.
Hey, there are no exceptions. There are exceptions to rules.
Dude,
But no, here's the thing. When it comes to relationships, at least the way that it feels for me, and I think a lot of other Gen Zers, is we're at a train station and the last train's already come. You guys caught that train. You guys got the good train, and we're sitting here waiting for another train or whatever the hell.
And we're telling you, meet us at the next station. You're saying I can't because it doesn't exist.
No, well, here's the thing.
There's no way to the next station.
Let me just
the
defend
train
myself
stopped
a little
running
bit from Mom's
here's
Mysteries
the
and Mayhem here attacking me. I just want to defend this a little bit. This is a criticism I get a lot. It's like, hey, if you want good girls, why are you at the bar fucking hitting on bottle girls? It's like, that's my work. Friday night, I'm at a
you want to know what?
club
And how
I'm doing comedy. That's how I get to live inside. So I have to be there, and that's the only time I leave my house is that or the gym. So
That's how I have plumbing.
That's
I gotta
meet
defend
people.
Theo just a
My
little
cat
bit.
has to eat, and while I'm there, I just double up, right? And I'm like, okay, there's a bottle girl here. Let's see if she wants to, have my baby.
Hey,
she's got a neck tattoo.
Right,
Is that gonna? Well,
So
my
you,
baby
I gotta
have a-
defend
you
you.
definitely got to fish in the pond that you're in. You can't be wondering.
Yes.
And
You
find a
can't be
new
wondering if
pond.
there's like something else over the next ridge. I mean, if you're
If
here,
you're unhappy,
you might as
find
well
a new
fish what you can
pond.
catch, you know.
But again, I got to defend Theo a little bit. How do you know that's not a church-going girl? Just happens to be working at the bar that you're hitting on Theo.
Right.
Ah.
How do you
Here's
know?
the thing. Here's the thing. Most of the
Oh, so wait.
church-going girls are fucking married.
So wait, hold on.
Correct.
Emerald. So the church-going girl who needs to pay her bills is working at a bar, like lowering herself to work at a bar, much like a chick who's doing OnlyFans to pay her bills just so she can feed herself and her kids.
Just
Right?
like me,
There's a
doing
difference
stand-up
between
comedy and a
serving-
podcast to pay my bills.
Well, unless
there's
I mean, if
a
it's a topless
difference.
bar, then you're kind of getting into that same vein.
All the same.
But I mean,
There's a difference
What percentage
between
of women
serving a
work in
bottle and
Hooters?
serving your butthole. Those are different.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a bit of a,
Thought
bit of
I would
a
hear
false
on Saturday.
equivalency.
And not getting naked, you know, that's one thing.
I mean, look,
No.
if you can find me a bar where the women get naked to serve, let me know, so I can definitely avoid that place. Totally.
Well,
avoid it.
I want to say this. Church, the idea of the church girl has very much evolved, like from when I was a kid. Like with you, the religious tradition that I was raised in is definitely like you don't go to bars, you don't smoke, you don't drink, you don't have fun. But like now, church culture has, in general, I feel like has evolved to actually now alcohol is not necessarily a sin. Like smoking weed isn't necessarily, not that it was before, but I feel like church culture in general, Christian culture in general, has definitely evolved to be a little bit more liberal with the libations, which is perfectly fine. So you are probably more apt to find a woman who is a church going woman, like a good woman, at the bar because because the culture has evolved now to where like a bunch of church friends can go and just have a nice drink by themselves and just sit and talk. They're not necessarily going to meet men or go to the club because there's a difference. A bar and a club, there's a difference. If they're going to a club, that's one thing. Like if a bar, like going down to Little Woodrow's down the street, just having a drink and watching the game, a bunch of girls doing that. Not that that would happen, but but it's still
Well, it is
it's
the
a little
South.
bit different contact. Yeah,
That's
It
what
is
I'm
the
saying.
South.
yeah,
I
it
think
can happen.
I think
But,
Darnell's actually
there's plenty
making
of
a
girls
point.
at the breweries that I go to, and they're single and seem to be really nice. And I try to
Dude,
because they're there
there's a
because they're
chick-
there for
hey,
craft beer.
At
you
the
know what I mean?
Galveston Brewery, there's a chick that works on some Saturdays. You need to meet that chick.
Okay, I will.
do.
I will take a look
Okay.
whenever the weather gets.
Okay.
nicer,
Okay.
head down
That's
Galveston
that's
and-
that's.
and-
I should also
enough
say,
fucking
Strider
Strider
happiness
said
in
the
my
words
stream. We're done
good
with
and
that.
woman. That's an oxymoron.
Now, well, here's the thing. I think some of this is like
No,
Darnell's
don't get
right about
Westville
the
on that.
geography thing.
Don't do it.
Like the geography might be an issue. Like I am in the Pacific Northwest. That's where they
Yeah,
that's where
you're
they, if you're looking for the fucking like tattoos and ear gauges and fucking colored hair and horrible takes on politics, this is where they make them. This is where we keep the factory. It's over in Seattle. And they got another branch in Portland. They just keep cranking them out.
Worse.
And that's dude. And it's like it's crazy because that's also where we get like the lack of accountability and all that stuff, right?
Well, I
So
thought that was just baked into women.
yeah, well, I think that it is to some degree, but I think I've noticed in like conservative and church-going women a tendency to like self-reflect. I noticed, I'm particularly I'm rich in Boston too. Yeah, it's like particularly I don't know. I know in the Catholic tradition, we're asked to go to confession and like reflect a lot on the stuff we did wrong and what we could have done better, which is good for self-improvement, right? And so I've noticed that tendency does exist. Like that's the thing that keeps me going. Actually, I'm not as black-pilled as I would be otherwise because I actually have met cool women. Here's the thing: when you meet a cool woman, there's a 99% chance she's already in a relationship.
So they
That's
do
just
exist.
because cool women don't have a hard time getting boyfriends.
And let me pull the back the curtain a little bit. Just because she's married and a cool chick, and maybe the type of chick we talk about, she may not be happy. She may be looking for that out.
Are you
So
like,
I
Go
hear,
to start a relationship.
I hear Darnell literally saying challenge accepted.
God damn, you're talking to go to a middle school.
No,
You're telling me
not
to
like
steal
that.
someone's wife. What is
I
wrong
don't
with you?
know. Well, yeah,
Dude,
I
no.
would
Another,
never. I would
go
never
to a
be-
wedding and hit on the
that-
bride. She might not be
I
happy.
no. Look,
Okay.
I have never tried to take someone from somebody, but I have in quite a few situations. I have been the guy that was used to get out of a marriage, and not like a deep relationship, and not like oh, I just need to find some dude, but like I was the guy that person was looking for. They settled for the person they were with, and it was fucking miserable.
I go to I enjoy going to weddings just as challenge their happiness to see if it works, and to rush in there and go to the bride. I know we just met last night, but are you truly happy with this guy? Do you think you really deserve to be with him?
I don't mean I met like the next day you meet to meet somebody, you realize they were happy.
Okay.
No, like it's just something that naturally progresses.
A long time
not
ago.
everyone is happy.
A long time ago, and for some reason this is still baked into my fucking brain, and I have no idea why. I once saw an episode of Coronation Street, okay, and there was a dude on there, and he was talking to somebody, and this was his exact quote, and for some reason I'll never forget it. He was talking to some other dude, and he was like, "Listen, every single woman is available, every one of them. You just have to put the hours in."
Right.
And he's referring to like even women that have husbands and boyfriends. So I mean, you can, if you put the time in, you can always be a wedge and wedge your way in there. You just have to put the hours in. So yeah, maybe you find a really cool chick and she has a boyfriend. I mean, she has a boyfriend for now until you put the hours in.
Yeah, you got to invest beforehand.
I see what you're saying, but I
You
kinda
don't
disagree
know
with that
It ain't
because
over till the vows are spoken.
You don't know
I've
her
lost
situation.
I've been in a relationship where I've been the other guy, and if someone is willing to look for something better while they're in a relationship, and I've seen this both ways, they're going to continue. There's a 90% chance they're going to continue to do that. They might.
Yeah.
It's possible.
By the way, this comment
break
gets the
up.
pin of shame. This is the dumbest comment so far. You don't know what the HR department has done to the American workplace. You have no idea. You have no idea how quickly a man would be crucified for acknowledging a woman at work.
I
Pin
think
of
this
shame.
is because they started
Shame.
dating while Pam was in a
Shame.
relationship. They were flirting with each other when Pam was already in a relationship. I
Well,
think
they're
that's
also
what
fictional.
she's
by the
referring
way.
to.
Okay.
Everything that
Everything
was
I
done in
said-
that show was written for that to happen. So
But everything
not
I said
necessarily-
was that's an example of what I was saying.
Yeah.
Like more than often you will find a situation where someone just accepted what they had
That's
and
true.
were fucking miserable.
Well, no,
Also,
so what I'm
you
saying,
have to go drive a wedge in somebody.
the Pam
Like-
and Jim thing is the every woman is available because Pam was in a relationship and
Yeah,
Jim
for
was the
real.
wedge who applied enough
But
time.
from
Also,
the
I am
start, you
trying to
saw
meet
how
women
you
at
saw how
work. You
doomed the
guys keep
relationship
busting
was.
me for that.
Well, your
It's
work's
the
a
type
little
of
bit different.
woman.
You've got to make believe, John.
Here's the thing. This is what I'm talking about, though. This comment by Full Metal Nate is really important. Full Metal Nate, friend of the channel. Full Metal Nate, friend of the channel. He's a Gen Z, and he says I am very black pilled, and I think that's like most. That's like
Like the
that
licorice?
attitude is very widespread right now, and that's what we have to kind of speak to. So if you're gonna say to somebody who's completely black pilled, you're gonna be like, man, just put yourself out there more and be yourself. Then they're gonna think you're stupid, and they're not gonna listen to you, right? You have to
You're right.
acknowledge what they're dealing
But
with.
guess what?
That's
Guess
words of
what
wisdom.
though? Guess what though? This man, and I could probably say Strider, we're also black pilled at 1.2.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We
And I was getting
put ourselves out there
I was
and
pretty black
got out of that mindset.
I understand that, but I think the rules of engagement have shifted in a way that you may not have factored in. That I
No.
also think we should acknowledge
Now,
that.
I want to be. I
No,
wanna be
rules
very
of
clear.
engagement have shifted. It brings me back to I'm gonna use basketball. Basketball in the 80s and 90s and before.
Okay.
Thank God it's
Fundamental.
basketball, not a middle
time out.
school.
Strider, you've dated in both worlds. What's your take on this? You dated in the before times and now. Which is worse?
Post-apocalypse.
Is that
Well,
is that
in-
COVID? Pre
I
and post
can't.
COVID?
I can't really. It's tough because I was a very different person.
Yeah.
So like now, because back then I would have. I mean, back then I had such a low. And that's probably why I got in the relationship I did and the marriage that I did, is because I had such a
Same.
low bar for myself, and I thought so little of myself. And also, this is something that I've thought for a long time. Being raised in the church, so many. And this is something I've been unpacking for pretty much since childhood. I've been raised, and I think most of us have been raised in a tradition, a very feminized tradition, where everybody from fathers, grandfathers, uncles, pastors, youth pastors, chapel speakers, anything, they put their spouses on, they put their wives on a pedestal, and they use very disparaging language to describe themselves. Oh, I don't know how she puts up with me. She's wonderful. She's amazing. And what do you ever hear the woman saying that? But like looking at the culture that I grew up in, especially because I went to a Christian college, it was suffused. Like that was part of the DNA there. that you are lucky to get a good woman. Well, I thought I had a good woman. Turns out didn't wasn't actually the case. But like my mindset was, oh my God, a woman actually is paying attention to me. And like that's not the mindset you need to have, because you can't. That's not, because that way you'll settle for crazy if you do.
Right.
So now,
Right.
but now I'm actually learning, and it's something, and that's how I know I'm probably not ready to date like in earnest, because like looking around, I've
Well, I
started.
don't think you're in a dude, so
Well, that's to be
What's
clear.
wrong with
Well,
Ernest?
let me finish my thought here.
yeah, sorry.
No, that's okay. Like looking around, I'm also kind of hopped up on coffee, so if I'm talking fast, I'm sorry. But looking, like I have definitely built up a new life for myself, and like granted, I don't have a whole lot of friends around. I am rather on my own. I'm not going to say lonely, but it does get kind of lonesome at times. But like I kind of find myself thinking in terms of a relationship. Oh, it'll be a cure for my loneliness. I won't feel as alone now. That's how I know I'm not ready yet, because the idea of being in the principle is true. The idea of being alone is better. If you can just sit with the idea of being alone over being in a bad relationship, you are ready for a relationship.
You know, there's a
Not quite there
quote.
yet.
There's a quote from a horrible movie starring Robin Williams, World's Greatest Dad. I realize now. No, terrible movie. The only good part about that movie is you see Robin Williams' dick. That's the only.
He's seen a movie. Don't derail him.
Also, it's got a really good song in it. That's it. But the end quote of the movie is, "I realize now it is better to be alone than surrounded by people who make me feel alone."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, been there.
So,
that's pretty much my entire college experience.
What I was trying to say is, okay, you got basketball back in the day. Fundamentals was how you played the game, right? You were taught, dribbling. You were taught fundamentals. Then basketball became street ball, where everyone takes like 55 steps after they pick the ball up to shoot the shot, and they like run, take like a huge jump step, and jump. It's all the stupid shit. Well, you know what some of the more successful players are fundamentals guys.
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
So what I'm saying is like what we did as like our generation. Use those skills, use those fundamentals, and you'll find yourself not above the next guy. You'll find above everybody.
No, I don't disagree with you. I'm just asking you to appreciate the risk.
I absolutely get it.
And
Absolutely
I don't know that it's possible for you to. That's the thing. I know if I'm asking, because
I dated like Strider. I was dating in the pre and post as well.
Yeah.
Like my second wife was the same thing. I settled for someone who made me feel alone because I felt I was shit.
Yeah.
And I turned into a 6-year relationship, and now I got to talk to this woman for the next 13 years. No, 11 years.
So okay, so there's a weird middle ground, a weird nuance in between Theo and Darnell, where so I met my wife at a hardware store, and the way she got my number is she came up to me, she handed me her phone. It was already on the add new contacts, and she very bold, put your number in here. And wow, that holy forward, that's fantastic. That's a breath of fresh air, because talking to women, 7 years ago was still sometimes could be dicey. Now it's extremely dicey. So if anybody pulled what she pulled, you could easily be fucking, you can go to jail with fucking, like rape charges or some shit, even though you just asked for a number. So I mean, the fundamentals are great, but the fundamentals can get you branded a rapist in public, Discord. So it's kind of the thing how it's weird how women want to go back to like the time when men were bold and brave and say, hello, lady, may I take your hand and go on this date? Except if you do that and you're not Prince Charming, then you're a rapist. So it's like they hate the thing they want. And so the fundamentals won't work until they get over that issue.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense at all.
Then it does.
No, it does.
If the fundamentals don't work in that person, then fucking cut it down and move on.
See, Sean actually pointed out the real solution to this problem. Women just need to start asking us out.
It worked for me.
Well, that's kind of the world that we're living in now. And I'm completely okay with that. I am tired of the hard to get bullshit. I am not into games. I am not into spinning myself in circles to even get a sidelong glance. Not doing that. But that's
choking
a
a bar
good
chick.
No,
That's
it's
a good thing
no.
for most men to embrace. Like, don't play the games. Just be so far above it where she would never think of playing games, or she knows that you're not the kind of person to fall for it. Like one of the best, probably one of the better scenes in Landman is Tommy's annoying daughter being like, no, I just want 3 fries from Whataburger. You got to throw the rest away. He's like, what the hell are you doing? And she said, well, most boys consider this kind of a treasure hunt. They're fine. They're happy to do this for me. He just kind of like, what? That is how women think. They like to put men through those tests in order to just see what they're going to get away with, because that's what it is. They're just trying to see what the line is.
Yeah, okay.
But
So
the point is, there are going to be women out there like that, and it's perfectly fine. And like, I'm perfectly content if I never ever find another woman to be with for the rest of my life. Okay, but I'll be damned if I'd stop trying. The key is it's you, and we may all never find success. It's entirely possible. Are you comfortable with that reality, or are you not? But don't black pill. Never black pill, because that's how the bitches win. That's how propaganda works. Propaganda, we mentioned Marxist propaganda. Gramscian propaganda is meant to dispirit you, is meant to completely disillusion you, make you feel alone. It's not to convince you of anyone's position. It's not to convince you out of your position. It's to make you feel so alone that you adapt their position in order to not feel alone anymore. You can't do that. Yeah. Don't black pill. I know you can may be able to give up. You may be like, you know what, I'm going to put this on hold for a little bit, or just not do it. And that's perfectly fine. But don't do it for the other person. Do it for you. Don't do it for this. Don't do it for the women who won't have you. Don't do it for the women who hurt you. Do it for you. Do everything for you, because that's how you sit in your own masculinity. And with something that we haven't really talked about here. That's how you sit in your own masculinity, sit in your own independence, sit in your own self, I don't know, actualization is a bad way to put it. But don't do it for somebody else. Do it for you.
Sure. Well, that's actually with anything and any kind of growth. You got to do it for yourself, because if you're doing it for someone else, then you're giving yourself away to and someone else to blame when you're unsuccessful. If you're doing it for yourself, then you have true motivation.
Yeah. And like, something that I've been doing lately is making myself be way more approachable, and I feel better because I mentioned my longboard multiple times. I'm 35. What the hell am I doing on a longboard? And like, I'll fall and I'll bust my ass open and I'll like fall on my hand. I'll hit wrong or something. I'll lose my board, but I'll smile and laugh at it, because it helps me take myself way less seriously, look like I'm having fun. Women like that self-assuredness. If you don't take yourself so seriously, if you're willing, don't look like an idiot, don't be a clown, but don't take yourself so seriously. Look like you're having fun, because eventually you start looking like you're having fun. You will start to have fun, and you will attract the people that want to have fun with you. If you're already doing your own thing, I'm not going to say it will attract, but you have a higher chance of attracting the woman that wants to say, hey, that looks like fun. I'll do that with you.
Or he looks like fun. I want to
learn about. I mean, it makes it a lot easier rolling up to that middle school to hit on those middle school moms on the longboard.
Dude, hey, I am not pulling up to a middle school on a longboard. You can fucking forget about it.
Now, look, I understand where Strider's coming from, but I still feel like Strider's too many steps ahead.
No, he's not.
No, I really do.
Darnell, you're so far ahead, you can't even hear what ours is saying.
That's what I'm starting out.
I understand why you say
you're
that.
in the mansion trying to figure out how I'm trying to get out of the homeless shelter.
No.
That's where we're sitting right now.
Well, no,
I'm trying to figure out how to stop living in a train.
I am empathetic. I can put myself in your mentality. I can. That's how my brain works.
No, I'm not saying you're not empathetic. What I'm saying is that
I do understand. I do,
because here's the thing, right?
I remember when I was in that place. I remember when I was in your exact position.
Different. It was
a different time, Darnell. You had a different time with different people. The thing is, I'm Gen Z looking for other Gen Zers, and Gen Z people are completely different minded.
And stop looking for Gen Z people.
I understand that.
Hagmaxing, that's your advice.
Millennials are worse. Millennials are worse than Gen Z. But no, okay, listen. All right, Darnell. Because I want someone who I will eventually have a family with. I want somebody
Okay.
who's in a general similar stage
Okay.
of life as me.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
are my
Got it.
two stipulations. I want a
Got
family.
it.
I want
Got
someone
it.
who isn't in a different stage of life. And
Got
I'm
it.
going out there. I'm having fun. I'm being myself. But the problem is, being myself isn't enough. That's not
Okay.
all that I have to do. There are other steps to get to where Strider's talking
Okay,
about.
Yeah, that's
let's
true.
see if I understand this. You're looking for a Gen Z chick. Gen Z chicks are the problem. So you're going to keep bashing your head against the door hoping for a different result.
Well,
Correct?
millennial chicks aren't that much better, but no, I don't want to date someone who's at a different stage of life, because then what happens when one
Then
of us
then
moves
stop
to a
trying
new
to
stage
date.
of life?
The best thing is stop trying
I'm
to
not
date
going
then.
out there. I'm not actively looking. It's like Strider said, I'm trying to work on myself. I'm learning to have fun on my own. And yeah, sure, I might lay awake at night being like, God, I wish there was someone next to me. But I'm not going out there and banging my head against the wall. It's kind of, I'm going to go out there and live my life. And if something comes up, excellent. I'm hoping that I go out there and somebody is at the hardware store handing me their phone. But I can't be waiting for somebody to do that. So I'm out there living my life. But the thing is, just being out there, just being happy, just being confident, that's not enough.
Right.
Your geographical location. I'm going to go back to that.
Bro. Yeah, you move to. You know what you should do? You should move to Bangkok or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, let's go to
And
Bangkok,
then-
yeah.
Arza,
just
you
buy a
describe
woman
but not
for
Arza.
$400.
You described every place you go or where you live, the two places you live are nothing but like fucking liberals.
And I mean,
Then you
there's an
need to
issue.
put
There's
your-
an
you
issue
need
that
to
I
get on a
can't
different
find
type of person
people.
then.
I'm on campus. I live on a college store campus, but I don't really have another option. I'm stuck here for another 3 months until I graduate. I
And see,
can't
this
just go somewhere else. I can't just change my geography.
This is kind of what I'm saying, right? So see, Arza and Nate are on the same page on this, and I think that's kind of where a lot of Gen Z men find themselves. And I want you to look at how he's reacting to the kind of like dad advice. And this is hold on.
Fighting back. Yeah, not listening.
Yeah, it's
No,
like kind
I
of the
love
I
your
did when I was
advice.
that age.
I
Like,
love
dude,
your
I did
advice,
at that
Darnell, and I wish your advice would work for me. I want your advice to work because I'm
Yeah.
glad to be getting the advice of someone
It
who's
will.
happy.
I'm in this case, I'm going to side a little more with Arza and Nate on this one a little bit, because we are older and we aren't interacting with that generation.
Yeah.
So
Fair
it is,
enough.
and again, we've commented on it with social media, with the whole point that the generation has become so receded and so in on themselves that they can't even interact in person. So I get what ours is saying, and I get what they're saying. It is harder for them to get those interactions to meet the
Never
women.
said that.
But I know, but it's just it is a different situation. So it's not banging his head against the wall. It is to a point that it's more frustration of his generation that they're running into.
But yeah, no. Yeah, agreed. But he's like, okay, it has to be someone in the Gen Z, so I'm going to keep going after Gen Z. That's not working. Gen Z isn't working.
This is where I see the disconnect here. You are underestimating the amount of headbanging that is necessary for a Gen Z to get into a relationship.
And here's the thing: it's
You
not
are
that I'm looking at Gen
underestimating
Z.
the amount of resistance they face.
I don't need to be
no,
with the Gen Z.
no, I'm not. What I'm saying is he's looking at Gen Z for a relationship. And you said you looking for a Gen Z person. You're going after Gen Z. Well, they're not responsive. I can't talk to them. I can't do this. Well, you're just going to sit in a circle till you find a different
It's
avenue.
like what Morty Mayhem said. He said, having someone that's where you are in life is great. I will say, though, that my dad gave me advice that I said was outdated, but it's basically what works. So it worked for him, the other advice. But he is saying that you need to have somebody. We're still alive. We're good. It basically, I don't know where Theo went.
Don't bring it up. Don't mention it.
Oh, you're right. I can't let him cancel. But it's
Are we
basically,
live?
It says we're still live. We're still live on YouTube. I have the YouTube thing. We're good. But what I'm saying is, it's not so much that I need someone in my generation. I just don't want to be dating outside of my life stage. I don't want to be dating someone who has a full-time job, because what if I get into grad school and I have to leave? Okay. What if I'm dating someone who's still in undergrad when I'm in grad school? There's so many issues with dating someone who's not in the same life stage as me.
I get that. You know what I've heard a lot of today?
You're also in.
What if?
Yeah, and that is true.
But
You're also in a very
Sorry.
transitory
Hold on. Time out.
area of life.
Time out. Okay.
Yeah.
This is the missing piece. Did we lose all our fucking view? Did I fuck up the whole stream? I
No,
might have-
No, you're fine.
We're good.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. No, I was gone for a second and then I missed. No, okay, we're still getting comments. I think it's fine. All right. The point is like, okay, so you're hearing him say, I'm trying and trying and trying and it's not working. You're saying, try something else. You're facing too much resistance. I'm telling you, you don't understand the amount of resistance Gen Z has to do just to get a bare minimum relationship.
You're
His
talking to a
process
guy.
is normal. No. Hold on. You're not hearing it. All right. What ours is experiencing, that is the normal amount of resistance guys his age get when they're trying to date someone. And it's not dating intergenerationally doesn't fix that, right? You're just trading out a new set of problems. Millennial women are a fucking nightmare. I can say that personally.
Sure.
Trading it out for a different set of problems, right? The fact is there are more problems associated, baked into getting into a relationship than you remember. So the fact that he's describing all these problems, he's describing more problems because there are more problems. It is harder. That doesn't mean you shouldn't do it, by the way. I'm not saying quit. I'm not saying black pill. I'm not saying
understand
check out.
everything he's saying.
But listen to me. When you sit there and say it's easy, all you got to do is hurdy-durdy-dur. I'm saying the Gen Z guys are going to check out. You sound out of touch, bro. You sound out of touch.
Okay, you want to know something? The guys in other generations who are like millennial generations aren't complaining as much. They're not giving yeah but what if
I don't know, man. The millennials are yapping a lot too. I hear it too.
But if I have conversations with people of all kinds of generations all the time. If I'm talking to a millennial or someone older, which I used to talk shit about millennials, but they're starting to come around, they're more open to hearing what's being said. It's not a yeah but what if you don't understand. I said the same shit when I was his age to my parents. And if I had listened,
I know
my 20s and beyond would have gone so much easier.
If you don't display understanding, you're not going to be able to
understand.
the trust.
The last thing
I know, but when you say every time you say I do understand, it
like
grates against the ears because it sounds like a lack of understanding. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You have to be able to build the bridge of trust if you're going to give advice.
It's not that I want to be saying yeah, but to everything. It's that's the ground. That's what's there. You know, I would love nothing more than to be like, you're 100% right. And I wish you were. I wish what you were saying would work for me because I do want to be in a relationship and I do want to put that stuff out there. But it's so much harder to just go out there and talk to people in the real world now.
So
you have to understand that the rules have changed.
I know.
It's a completely different game.
So go touch back with something you said. You said saying I understand is grating and makes it seem like I don't. I didn't come out with the beginning saying I understand. That was my response to saying being told you don't understand. It's a reaction to y'all putting that out there, right? To build trust. One way to build trust. If you tell me something and I see it and I try it or I do it and it works, I'm going to start trusting you more. Every time we've given advice to the younger people, it's always been yeah, but what if? Yeah,
can I ask Sean? I want to ask Sean what he thinks about all this, given the fact that he also is a father who's also listening to me scream my head off like a headless.
Okay, so all right, no. Okay, I'm gonna tell the very quick story, which sort of will demonstrate how I completely, entirely understand what you're saying. So I don't know, a handful of years ago, my mom was giving me shit for not going out and getting a career, right? Not a job, a career. As well, how do you just go do that nowadays? And she's like, it's easy. You go and get a career. Like, no. How do you do that? And I explained all of the things, all of the problems. How it's not as easy as what it used to be, where you can just go get a job and work there for 50 years and have a pension, and then hooray! This is what the boomers did. Times it's not the same. And then she's like, it's easy. You just go out and then get a career. And she kept saying, go out and get a career. I'm like, I can go out and maybe get a job. Yeah. But she's like, no, I'm talking about a career. And then it was like this weird conversation where I couldn't, no matter what, I couldn't explain the new reality of having a career or a vocation or anything like that. And so this conversation, it brings me right back to that, because the whole reality of it is entirely different, right? So I mean, there's a bunch of problems, like the new things, whether it be people's mindsets or the legal ramifications of even speaking to a woman. It's just kind of like, how do we, what are the root causes? How can we, maybe if we address some of those and solve those, we can get back to maybe what everyone wants dating to be. Like it's
So
kinda
right.
like, it's like
On that
people
story-
want to solve it, they just don't know how.
Did your mom tell you like not just say just go do it? Did she tell you how to do it,
No.
or she give you? Okay, that's that story. It fits, but that's the difference. We're giving them ideas and giving them things and giving them paths to travel, and they're like, yeah, but shut the door. What if shut the door? They're just shutting all the doors for all the advice they're being given.
But if you go out
Every
and talk
time.
to a girl, I mean, it's
Well, how do
you
I
know,
do that? We've given advice over the last year to the younger guys. Try this. Well,
Yes,
start doing
but
this.
but
They
the
don't. They
advice-
keep saying, "Well, yeah, but."
The
Okay,
advice to
Darnell.
go out and talk to a girl, I mean, you know, whether it be Twitter or TikTok or whatever, there's a million examples out there of exactly why you shouldn't do that. And then so we're giving this advice. Well, this worked for me. It's like, well, that's great, but everything I know about what you're saying is telling me to exactly not do that.
Here's the thing. I'm not even saying you're not right. I'm saying your rhetorical strategy sucks. Look at how Nate is responding to what you're saying right now. Your rhetorical strategy
Exception to
blows
the rule.
chunks. Fix
Exception
it.
to the rule.
No, your
Here's the
rhetorical
thing.
strategy sucks.
I don't
That's
know.
what I'm
I've
saying.
never met anyone who fights back as much as he does.
That's true.
No
Nate
one.
is really
He's really
he's a
he's
shit
very black
digger.
belt.
But if that's what you're
No.
up against,
Theo
then
behind you.
back to your
Theo
strategy.
behind you. Theo behind you.
Yeah, hold on.
No,
I'm
no,
not
actually
right
turn
now. He
around.
knows that, so
Oh,
he'll be
okay.
fine. Thanks.
Okay.
But
Now,
here's the other
what
thing.
I'm saying, what I'm saying is, if that's what you're up against, factor that into your rhetorical strategy.
Okay, fair enough. But then when the guys say, "How do we meet girls? How do we do this?" and we give them advice, they say, "Yeah, but."
Right, your rhetorical
if?
strategy isn't working, so you should
Then
what?
stop.
Here's-
So wait,
here's
they
another-
can keep
Your,
beating their
your
head on stuff?
rhetorical no accountability. Your
fair
rhetorical
enough.
strategy isn't working, so you should what?
Okay, fair question. Guys who want advice, how do you want us to give you advice? Door's yours. Oh, floor's yours.
Works for me. That's the only. Okay, here's the thing, Darnell.
But
So I
everything
actually
we've
have-
given, y'all
I
don't
actually have
try.
some actionable
No,
advice
Everything
here.
we've given, y'all don't try. Y'all say, "What if?" Yeah, but from the start, and don't try it.
Here's another thing,
So,
Darnell.
our-
You were
ours
saying
How
are
that
do you
we're-
know it's not going to work?
I can't tell if
ours
I'm
are-
really
you
here.
guys-
This is just a
tell
really
me if
weird
it-
fever dream right now.
Yes.
But here's the
The
thing.
answer is yes.
You're saying I'm closing the doors. Maybe I'm opening the door and there's a brick wall there.
No,
And maybe
not.
here's the thing.
No.
I'll give you some credence. I will
There you
give
go,
you some
right
credence.
there.
I will give you some credence.
Right there.
Maybe Theo's right. I just have to wait till 28. And then the brick wall is going to crumble. Maybe he's right about that. And I just got to wait. I'm not.
Yeah.
Maybe you're right 100%. And I'm just at the wrong stage. Just like Nate. Nate said it himself that how can he do this when, what did he say?
mental
I
health
lost-
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, he said, okay, when there are so many other factors. Maybe the problem is there are too many factors blocking that door. And if that's the case, I will admit that. And that's on me, not on you. But all that I can tell from where I'm standing is the door is blocked.
Guess what? When we were that age, yes, times are different, but we had mental health, we had responsibilities, we had jobs, we had all that shit, and we still did it. Not saying we're better for doing it, but you asking advice, we're giving in every single piece that I've given, he's given, all the older guys have given it. Y'all asking for, y'all say no to from the start.
Maybe one of
Wait. Maybe we need to. Okay, so we're saying it's like we're giving advice about being in our mansion when you're like homeless on the streets in a cardboard box. Okay, so right, so let's lower ourselves to a cardboard box. So you're opening a door and there's a concrete wall there. What makes you think there's a concrete wall there? We'll get right down to your level.
And maybe
you're doing a lot
Darnell's
of
right.
what and what if.
No, answer.
So we'll focus on the second half of the but and the what if. But okay, tell us about it.
All right,
We'll
so
do it.
first of all, I'm going to say this. Maybe Darnell's right, and what's blocking the door is geography. That could be it. Or, the other brick walls could be really struggling to find a woman who's worth asking out. Finding a woman who you can ask out in an environment that's appropriate to ask somebody out. Because the environments that is appropriate to ask someone out is so small. It could simply be that you're looking for something, but you can't find someone you're compatible with. You're a one size key and you're looking for the wrong locks.
Some of that sounds like inexperience. Once upon a time, you were really shitty on camera. Now you're actually really awesome on camera. So, and you did that through experience. So some of what you said is literally swinging at a ball
It's
and
you.
missing.
It's you building a brick wall in front of the door.
I will give you an experience 100%. Because one of the things that makes me worried to get in a relationship is I've only been in one relationship, and it was when I was 15. Okay, I don't know how to be in a relationship. I don't know how to properly ask a girl out in a way that's compatible for an inexperienced guy.
So now we're seeing cracks in the wall now.
So it sounds like
now we're seeing how to get through the wall.
It sounds like you currently somehow in your dating mind, and this isn't like for everyone, but just you are specifically. You're a grown man going through university, and you have the dating part of your mind is stuck at 16 years old, and it hasn't Pokemon evolved yet because you haven't swung and missed.
Well, I have swung and missed. I've done it a couple of times.
No, you haven't grabbed the evolved stone yet.
And here's the other thing, Darnell. This goes back to what I was saying earlier.
What
we're talking about,
a couple times. That means I've been married as many times as you fucking swung and missed a couple times.
Same.
And also, there are people who legitimately will ruin your life if you ask them out in class. But here's what I'm saying, Darnell. What we're talking about right now,
that's fact.
This is step 16. We've gone down to step 16. 10 minutes ago, we were talking about step 25. We've moved down to one of the steps that's close to where I am.
Well, I've asked y'all.
All of the dating advice has been steps.
Let me ask you something, Arza. Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like taking this in, and what I want to know is what is the smallest step that you could take that you would take. And an example of that is if you could once a day say good morning to a woman you don't know. Is that something you could do once a day? You don't even have to wait for her to respond. You could say good morning and then run away like a weirdo. That's fine. But just to sort of like expose yourself and not expose yourself to a woman. Pause.
That may work. That may work on a chick.
You know what I mean? Running away may work. Just sort of once a day. Because one thing I would do when I was in the pickup artist game, one thing that I would do if I was in a slump to kind of like because pickup artistry is like baseball. You have about the same success rate. Well, actually less. Good pickup artists succeed like 1 in 9 approaches. It's rough, right? So if you're in a slump, you kind of got to get out of it. One of the things that I would do is I would just walk up to a woman, give her a compliment on something she had control over, and then bail and not ask for anything else, right? So that conditioned me to get really, 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 really comfortable to talking to women I don't know. It was awkward at first, but I got better at it, right? And eventually you say good morning to a woman, not even a compliment, just good morning, just a perfectly normal thing. Eventually you'll say good morning to a woman who wants to hear it. And she might be like, wait, tall, handsome gamer man, don't go away. I want to say more than good morning,
Yeah.
Well,
so is that something you could do, buddy?
Well, my answer to that is,
yes or no?
I don't know if I could, because the kind of guy who goes up and says good morning to every woman he walks across.
Not every, just once a day.
No, don't
even
do that.
That comes off a lot of times as really creepy. And there's a certain level of self-reflection.
Well, yeah. But you don't do it with a creepy. You don't do it with a creepy smile and a little baggie of candy when you're doing it. You just simply walk past.
In your head?
I got something for this. So being thought of as creepy is actually part of getting good at talking to women. And I hate to say that. It's like playing the bagpipes.
It's in your head.
It sounds horrible when you start, and it just gets better. And here's the thing. It's not in your head. She may think you're a creep. That's reality. That's just part of it. Sorry. That's just part of being a young man. That's just part of it. It sucks.
True, but he's already got in his head that it's creepy. That's what I'm saying. It's in
his head.
But
it might be, and I'm asking you to just.
I know people like this. I know people who like that, and they're really fucking creepy.
Right, and you don't want to be a creep, right?
Exactly.
And Arza, you are completely okay. That is a valid fear. I completely understand that.
Look, I'm fat. I'm unattractive. I'm balding.
You're funny. You have a YouTube channel. You're tall.
You are not. No, whatever.
I am not tall. I am not tall. I am average height.
How tall are you?
5'10".
How tall are you? Okay. Fuck you. You're tall. We're short.
Writer's talking.
I've actually had therapy to practice this. I'm trying to get it edgewise. Arza, whatever you are saying to yourself that is making you think this about yourself, Fuck that shit. It doesn't fucking matter. You are not as tall as me.
That's what I've been saying!
I am also not as young as you are. It doesn't matter. And here's the thing, Arza, this is absolutely, and I completely understand where you're coming from. And I'm not even going to say, but I completely understand where you're coming from. You are also in a very transitory period in your life. I understand your fears 100%, and they are valid. They are, and you're also some of the walls that you're putting up, some of the things that you're thinking about, that's perfectly valid. Okay, you are not wrong in thinking that, because again, you are in a very transitory period because you're still getting your life started. You are in college, and then you're looking at grad school. That is okay. And here's the thing, it may not be a good time for you to get into a relationship, because that just adds more complications to the life that you're trying to build. And that may be something that you have to think about. I personally, if I were your therapist, I have your advisor, I will tell you, dude, don't.
Yeah, ours is getting hit on by the chat right now. Just so you know, shout out to the 4% of
My
my
secret
audience that's
plan
female.
has worked out.
Yeah,
Gina's a cutie, by the way.
That joke
here's what you need
is a good thing.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
go ahead, Strider. Finish your point.
Well, and that's the thing. There's a lot that you're throwing out, a lot of concerns that you have, and that's okay, because you are younger than all of us here. You're in a different stage of life than we are, and I know this is tough because I had to listen to this too. Maybe you're not in the best point in life to have a relationship because you're still looking to build your life, you're still looking to build your career, you're still looking to finish your education. As a senior in college, that's probably the worst time to look for a relationship, because especially where you are, because really college is a harbor. You got ships passing in and out at all times of the day. You may meet someone now, but like 3 months, she's probably going elsewhere. You're going this way. You do need to concentrate on building up your life. And you do need to concentrate on building up who you are and what you're about. Because again, I'm not the same person I was when I was like 20, 23, to whatever how the fuck old you are, I don't know. But when I was like in college, I'm not the same. I'm not the same guy. I have completely different priorities, and that's perfectly fine. Eventually, this stuff will come with age. But what Theo was saying, that is an actionable step to take. Don't care. I know it's easier said than done, but don't care. Don't care about coming off as creepy, because if you were trying too hard, that is unattractive, because it feels like that you are not secure in yourself. I would advise the thing that you need to learn is to be secure in yourself, concentrate on what you like, and then don't try to cast a wide net. Like, find things that you like to do, find places that you like to go that are your third place, that are not work, that are not home. Like if you go to a coffee shop every Tuesday, if you go
Gaming shop.
If you just find another place to go, like take a walk in the park every Saturday, go to a bar on Sunday, something like that. Make a routine that appeals to you, that you like doing, and you may, and I'm not saying like go looking, but you may run into somebody who runs in those same circles, who has those same passions. I'm not saying it's going to work. It's not a promise, but that it will open up doors for it. It might open up doors for you to interact with people, and just being open and friendly is actually very attractive. Being solid in yourself is very attractive. Now, all of this I'm relaying because I'm in therapy still. I'm going to be for a bit. I'm relaying everything that my therapist has told to me, and I've taken actionable steps. It's made me far more solid in myself, just not caring. I don't care if someone thinks me creepy. Fuck them. I'm probably not going to ever see him again. Who cares? That's their problem, because everything, even if it is about you, it's not about you. It's about that other person's perception of you, because you're not trying to be creepy. You're not trying to be a predator. So who cares what they think? Just don't give a shit. And I know it's easier said than done. I completely understand. But just being more curious about life, and trying your best not to care, that will serve you well in every aspect of your life.
Yeah, ours is still getting sexually harassed. By the way, shout out to the 4% of the Touchgrass audience that is female. I've said it before.
now, yeah.
Only hot chicks listen to this show.
Hey,
shout out W's in the chat for the 4%. W's
I
in the
think
chat.
it's more like 20 today, dude. I think it's more like
Yeah.
20.
And if I can also say, when it comes to talking to women, the issue isn't talking to women. It's about finding women who are interested in talking to me.
Sure.
Now, can I go real quick? Because
Didn't hit.
this will be really quick, because you did it. You acknowledged three faults, like you pointed them out. Short, you're not happy with your appearance, your hair. And then Theo countered that, and it didn't seem to really, with what you are good at. The best advice is accepting, like I said, accept the things that you can't change. Self-acceptance is a form of confidence. What can you change about the things you don't like? Your hair's thinning, get a haircut that complements it.
Shave it,
Short
baby.
haircut. You're a little
I'm not ready.
happy with your weight, diet and exercise, but also just getting a nice shirt that fits well on you. That kind of thing. One nice expensive shirt to wear on occasion will go a long way. Work on the things you're funny. Work on the possible. Confidence outweighs creepiness by a lot.
Yeah.
And also, just like Nate, like Strider said, not giving a shit if it's not going the way you want or received the way you want. If you don't care, no one else will either. But that's all I had to do with that.
The creepiness thing is, if these girls are thinking you're creepy,
Yeah,
then it's
but
like,
listen.
great, thank you for letting me know that you're the exact person I don't want nothing to do with. Because I was just
with the
being kind.
creepiness. The creepiness.
You
Here's what I
forget
meant by
that women are
it's in,
just people too.
correct. Is
If
why
you talk to a woman and
it's in
say
your
hello to
head.
them, they might be nervous, just like you would be nervous talking to them.
Right.
No matter what they look like, they could be a perfect 10 and they could be shy as fuck, and they could be nervous by talking to you. The smart, funny guy is talking to me. Will I know what to say? He'll think I'm dumb. Those thoughts could be going from even the hottest woman's head.
So many hot chicks out of my
they're just
league.
fucking people, dude.
So many chicks out of my league has told me, you were I realized you were hitting on me in our early 20s, and I was nervous. So I rejected you before you could reject me. I thought you were just messing with me, and it's like, well, you missed out too, not me. You also missed out. They're just as nervous. What I meant by it's in your head is when we're younger, we think, oh, everyone's looking at me. Oh no, everyone knows how I'm feeling. Oh no, everyone knows what's going on. That's what I mean by it's in your head.
Bro, the chat cannot stop thirsting after Arza. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Bro.
Now, overall,
This is the last time you'll be invited back. This is my chat. This is my chat. I'm upset.
and a lot of times too, when it comes to the beautiful women that are out there, that ones that you look at and go, well, they got to already be attached, or you're too nervous to approach them. Keep in mind that there are many guys, a lot of men that will think the exact same way as you, and those women are actually very lonely because no one will talk to them. Yeah. No one will engage with them because they are automatically thought to be too high on the threshold, too high out of the chance of even talking to or engaging with. So I mean, it's one of those. I mean, it happens both ways. It isn't just a one-way street of nervous or feeling that you're not at that same level, because you know what, you're gonna find. I mean, you'll find out there that there are some really attractive women out there that you would think would be out of your league, but are into the exact same things you're into.
No, well, the reason mids are so gassed up is because they get hit on the most. Because for hot guys, it's a low threshold of rejection, and so they don't realize that though. They think they're getting hit on because they're hot, not because they're easy. They haven't made that cognitive connection. So a lot of these hot girls have low self-esteem because they're watching their dumpy mid friend pull all the hot guys because she gives it up easy.
Now, if I can also just say real quick, BS Warren, great advice. V-necks are great for fat guys. I look excellent in a V-neck.
Well, there
I
you
have
go.
a bunch of them that I got
the
from
nugget
the Old Navy.
Where you
But here's the thing also, like, a lot of the issues, I know that I'm not creepy, usually, hopefully, I hope. But the problem is, like, a lot of the things, humor, intelligence, a lot of this stuff is a little bit deeper. We're in a very heavy window shopping time period.
Sure.
And when I'm the mangled puppy dog, you look at me and you're gonna be like, oh, it's so hideous. I'm gonna keep going.
Nope.
Stop.
If you're being funny about it, that's funny.
Arza, man to man.
I am exaggerating. I am exaggerating. I don't think I'm
hideous.
hideous. I'm exaggerating. I don't think I'm hideous.
You walk around thinking I'm hot, and then
Okay, but let's talk about this. Let's dive into this. Let's dive into this because let's make sure we're not. Make sure we're not being like, just be yourself, man, because that's terrible advice. Here's the thing. This is ours. I've said this on stream before, but here's the thing. I don't believe in myself. I have evidence. Right? Like my self-belief and my confidence does not come from any place irrational. I've done hard shit and I've survived dangerous situations and I'm confident I can do so again. And there's no one who's going to take that away from me. right? So that comes from a rock solid place of having real life experiences that came from taking real risks, right? And sometimes I crashed out. Sometimes they fucked me up. Sometimes I got really hurt, or like a business deal went really bad. That happens sometimes. But at the end of the day, I survived all that shit. And now I'm secure in myself because I know what I'm about, because I've been pressure tested, right? Yeah. So what I'm saying when I say dating's going to be better when you're 28, what I mean is now is the time in your life to seek out pressure testing, to make mistakes, to do hard things, to challenge yourself, and to try to grow as much as you can, and really triple down on things you're good at. You know, and that will help you feel better about yourself. You won't feel like a mangled puppy in a window, because you'll be standing there with your like pit bull titties out, like all squared chested and shit.
We've all been there. Yeah. We've all been there.
Yeah, bro.
You know,
look, here's the thing. There's a huge maxim that to become confident, you must first act confident. So I do the latter part. I act confident. Sure. You know, I don't crouch and stutter when I'm talking to a woman. I keep myself composed, but I'm like, that only goes so far, especially if they requires.
Well, yeah, you can't just act and think it's gonna happen. That's the first step. Act it.
I'm still on step 1, Darnell.
Okay.
I'm just saying. Can I also interject here? I think you're also, but again, you are also look at your, as I said before, look at your environment. In college, everybody is concentrated on their own thing. So then you're asking women to maybe look up from their self-absorption, because college naturally appeals to self-absorbed attitude, because everything is catered to help you succeed. And all you've got to do is show up, basically. That's what college pretty much is. It's getting easier as the years go by. You are also in an environment where everybody is zeroed in on their own thing. And maybe not a whole lot of people are interested in diverting their gaze. When you get out into the real world, I know I hate using that term, but when you get out into the real world, it's a lot more communicative. It's a lot more community based. You have to interact with people way more than you would ever in college, because again, the world does not revolve around you when you get out in the real world. And I learned that lesson the hard way. You have to work with people. You have to be a little bit more open and honest, and you have to be more amenable to weird experiences, to people who may hurt you or may benefit you. So once you get out into the world, you're probably going to find a lot more people who are going to be more willing to look up from whatever they're doing, because that's what you have to do in the real world. So I'm just saying, your environment may.
He's right.
You probably will have better success anywhere else. Like college,
a caveat to that though,
a whole group of people together. That it may seem daunting, because you got a whole group of people together that seem like it may be a good dating pool, but it may not be. It's a school full. It's a pool full of minnows. Like it's a teeny tiny little mud puddle with a bunch of tadpoles nearby. Those tadpoles are going to hatch. Those frogs are going to bounce out to different areas, different lakes, different oceans, or whatever. Frogs don't exist in the ocean, but like they're going to be in different areas. And so when by very nature of you graduating, get out into the world, getting it, just experiencing life. Like, and I love that line from Fight Club. A guy
put a bow on it, buddy. We're 3 metaphors deep.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I love that line from Fight Club. A guy comes to Fight Club the first time. He's a wad of cookie dough. After a few weeks, he's carved out of wood. So eventually, you are going to encounter things that are going to challenge you and to make you tougher. Embrace that and look for ways to make you more uncomfortable in small ways, so that you're carved out of wood, so that insults bounce off, that you don't care. So you know your limits, you know what you're capable of, and yet that immediately will produce more faith in yourself.
You don't care if you're creepy.
I can do this. I can do this. Because right now you're in a mindset of, I can't do this. Yes, you can. The more time passes, the more experiences you have, the tougher it gets. You will feel much more capable of doing it. You know what I mean?
So, Sean, I know you were about to say something. What were you about to say, Sean?
Okay, so it goes to what Theo was saying, but actually the tail end of what Strider was saying. It's what are you made of? When was the last time you had your metal tested? Like if you have to go through the shit. You have to be grounded down into your like the rawest form of you, right? Like, what are you made out of? And I sort of learned that with, various dating mishaps, but divorce court, having my child taken from me, having autistic children, and being stay-home dad. Like, I mean, I've been through some shit, but now I know what I'm made out of, and so there's all of these receipts, as Theo was saying, like, I don't have to have the confidence or whatever, because I know it's there. I have receipts to show it. So maybe you have to,
You need to be tested.
cookie dough and get carved into wood, as Strider was saying. Like, what are you made out of? You're gonna have your metal tested.
So one caveat to what Strider said about getting in a real world, that won't happen if you shut yourself into your own home. You work, go home, do nothing, you won't run into those things. You get into the real world, you need to get into the real world. Not like, well, I'm in the real world, nothing's changed. Yeah, well, you're looking at your same four walls every day, and you're not doing anything. You got to get into the real world. You got to do it.
It's not easy. It sucks. It sucks out here.
Right. Look, I'm sorry for getting so passionate and excited like I did earlier.
No, it's great.
Hold on. I know the chat doesn't they're seeing today, and some of the people here haven't seen a lot, but like Arza, you and me have had dozens of conversations about this. Me and Nate have had dozens of conversations about this, and from the start, from day one, you say, no, you're step 25, oh, we're going to step 16. I started talking to y'all on y'all's step, and it was, yeah, but what if from the start?
You and I have known each other for 5 months.
Hold on. It's been like that from the start. Every conversation is like, well, try this. Start moving in this direction. Yeah, but what if? And y'all shut down and close the door, and every door that was unlocked, y'all refused to open it or shut the door or say there's something blocking it. That's why I was getting so passionate. It's the same thing every time. What do I do? Well, we all give advice, and everyone who's given advice has been told, well, what if? Yeah, but.
And if I can say right now, not to jump, but this goes back to something that Nate said earlier about how if I sat here, that he couldn't sit here, he would have crashed out if he was sitting here where I am.
Yeah.
And that's why this show, Theo's show, is so damn important, because my problem isn't localized. It's not just a me problem. It is a my generation problem.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the fuck out of you sitting here and screaming at me about this, because I admit I have been putting up some
love
walls.
You guys.
Now, some of the walls are there legitimately, and some walls are not there legitimately. But every single Zoomer has these walls up, and we need someone. We need someone who can yell at us about the walls and someone who can validate the existence of the walls. And a lot of these shows that talk about Zoomer problems don't have a Zoomer to validate the walls and act as a heel. That is the most important part.
Yeah. Well,
so
also,
I really appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah. And also consider the fact that the fact that you are being challenged, so many people of your generation are not challenged, are not like pushed back on. And there are times there's a line, it can go into abrasiveness. And I understand, like when Nate was saying, but you're also in a generation of people who aren't pushing back on you. So if you are willing to withstand it, and it seems like you are, and the fact that you're embracing someone pushing back on you and calling you out on something that you may need to change, the fact that you are not saying, fuck you, dad, I won't change. That's a good thing.
Fuck you, dad.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. The fact that you're open to being challenged means that you are a step above every one of your generation. And eventually that strength of character will display itself. And if you keep building that up, that will serve you well, not just in relationships, but everywhere. People are going to respect you because they know what you're about. And I definitely feel like there's going to be a generational problem that not a lot of people are talking about.
Exactly. Most of my generation can't do this.
Yeah.
And I also want to say one thing.
Generation, they'll change to fit the times. And if you don't know who you are, then someone else will tell you for you.
I want to say what you, Sean, Theo, and Darnell have all said about being tested, showing our metal. There's a line in it that's a great song. I don't remember the lyrics, but it's great. Anyway, that is what it means. It's like never have I had to knock on wood, but I don't know. Or
Mighty Mighty Boss Tones.
Oh yeah,
yes. I don't know if I could, because I think it'd be kind of hard or whatever it is. Yeah, that's a great song. But what you guys are describing is the quintessential definition of what being a man is having your metal being tested. And a lot of us, most of us are still transitioning into men, and not in the Ellen Page kind of way, into actually becoming men.
legitimate transition.
We're the song in Mulan. We're the greatest song from a Disney princess movie. We're turning into men. And yeah, there have been times where I've had my metal tested, and it feels great to come out stronger for it. But we have so little metal.
Oh, now
to
you're coming
test.
out?
Yeah.
Well, I came out a long time ago. That's a
Well, maybe because society hates men.
yeah.
You know,
we,
and hates
we aren't given
masculinity and
anything
all
sexual.
that. Becoming men is what you have to do, but it's society hates it. So maybe that's one of the reasons, one of the core reasons why you're in the predicament that you're
I mean,
in,
yeah,
or
no,
your
this is
generation
what
is
Boy
rather.
Scouts was for. This is what Boy Scouts were, is to teach men how to be self-confident and to grow. I mean, like I have had my metal tested. I've got this cluster of scars on my arm right here from breaking up a fight between two dogs while holding a baby. Okay,
Based.
and I would.
That's hot.
That's awesome, but that's
Why
not
haven't
quite
you
the
led
same
with
as
that
going
story?
through
Hey,
divorce
remember that-
court,
wanna hear
having your
about the time I
child
saved a
taken from
baby?
you.
No, it's good, but that's where that's a great story
Time
for a
out.
date, by the way.
Time out. You just reminded me of it. You have a fucking baby you have access to.
I do have access to a baby.
God
Go
damn, what is it with
shopping
you
with
and
the
minors,
baby!
bro? Seriously. God damn, dude.
No, shut up.
Fuck, man.
There's a lot of single mothers. There's a lot of single mothers at the preschool.
Take the fucking baby shopping. Go take the baby for a walk. Oh my god.
No,
I do have
get
an
a dog,
open
go to the
invite.
dog park. That's
I
a
have an
better
open
way.
invite to take my nephew for a walk around campus.
Do it.
Selena, no, I'm not being creepy about it. It's these fuckers being creepy about it. Nothing I said is going after a child. Nothing I said is going after a child.
Yo,
Take the
somebody
fucking
get
kids
Chris
somewhere,
Hansen.
dude.
Eyes light up.
it's
You have
going
access to a
No.
baby?
Darnell is completely talking about going after the mothers of those children.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like, don't be creepy about it though. Like,
We lost
spend time
Nate.
with that's the thing.
No,
Spend
of
time with
course.
your nephew because you want to spend time with your nephew.
Yeah.
Show him around campus because you want to show him around campus. And maybe you
Bro.
might meet a girl. Maybe that might be an introduction, but do it.
You'll
for
need water
you, do it
boots.
for him,
You'll need
not
water
for
boots.
Anybody else? That's the key to life. Do something because you want to do it, because you like it and you enjoy it. And who fucking cares with no one else? And if someone notices you and likes it too, okay. But if nobody does, it doesn't matter because you're still doing it for you.
Morning Mayhem. Morning Mayhem nailed it.
No,
Works
I
fine,
think
works
that
for
might have
dogs.
worked in the previous generation. I don't.
It'll
think
work. It'll work.
No,
It'll
okay.
work.
You want to know the
Promise.
reason I haven't done that yet? You know why I haven't done that
I
yet?
don't know.
I'm a little worried
It'll
that
work.
I think I'm the father, so I want to get a hat that says like #1 uncle first.
No, well, they might also.
No.
I think they're more likely to think you're a kidnapper. To be honest, I think
That's also
people
true.
are going to treat a man alone with a baby.
Don't
with
do him that.
suspicion,
Don't
and
tell
I'm
him that. That's not true.
No. It is.
No,
No,
he's
it's
got
not
a point.
true.
He's got a
It
point.
is.
He has a point.
No,
It
it's
is.
not true.
Yeah, dude.
No,
I've,
it
I've
is.
covered some
No.
fucked up stories, man.
No, my
Dude.
dad has been accused of this before.
It's where the zeitgeist is, man. I think
Yeah.
this is a blind spot, dude. I'm serious.
That's the exception,
right.
not the rule. That's
could
the
be right.
exception.
Well, I don't think I don't think it's
I'm
the
down on
rule.
that hill. That's the exception.
I agree. I don't think it's necessarily a rule, but it's common enough to be a concern. That's all
To be
I'm saying about
disqualifying.
it.
Nope.
Yeah.
It's the exception. No.
I've
Now,
taken
I
my kids
will
to the
leverage
park
my
and,
nephew, but it is
and
still a
other
concern.
moms were all like, "Oh, so are these your kids?" I'm like, yeah. What the fuck, man? And then
Granted, yeah. But I've never once had a funny look at me when I was taking my stepdaughter or my current kids out anywhere. Then or now, people like give me that evil, like, oh, he's stealing kids creepy look. Not once. Not one fucking time. And I go everywhere with my kids.
It is a part of the zeitgeist in the sense of what society's done, especially with masculinity, to
That's why
have
it's the
an
exception,
actual
not the rule.
have a father that's actually taking care of their own kids or an uncle going out. It is looked upon because of the zeitgeist, and I think it's a little more than just a exception to the rule. I think it is a little bit more out there because it's even what Sean was bringing up of someone coming up and saying, "Hey, are those your kids?" type situation.
People were asking that back in the 90s.
They did.
It's gotten
It's always
worse.
been around.
But it's gotten
always
worse.
been around.
Right, it's
Well,
always,
that-
but
again,
it is worse now, right now.
I think it was worse in the
dog park.
80s.
It was an
And that is-
exception
that
in
is-
the 80s, and now it's a habit.
No. I think it was worse in the 80s because back then the dads had to work. The moms were always home. That's how family life was back then. The dad
That's a
worked,
fair
the mom
assessment,
stayed
yeah.
home. It was so when you saw a dad with a kid somewhere, they were more concerned if that was a kid being taken or whatever. Because what's a dad doing walking with a kid? He's supposed to be at work.
I think what people are
That's
saying
a
is
fair
that
point.
particularly Gen Z women are more primed to see men as predatory and to treat men who have any relationship with
chose the
them
bear.
as inherently suspicious.
Yep.
And a lot of this is because they didn't have dads, and a lot of it is cultural programming. But the way people think about these issues has changed in a way that you're not acknowledging.
No, I don't think it's changed that much.
I think
I will absolutely concede
Well, it
times
also
have changed.
depends- I
She
think it
chose
also depends
the
on the
bear.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
They chose the
Yeah.
bear, and they weren't
Doesn't it?
kidding.
Yeah, that's not just. I mean, it's funny, but it's
Hey,
still, it's a sign
you know
of
how
the
we-
zeitgeist.
Okay, you know how we talk about the vocal minority of the liberals or the loudest, so they get
No,
they get
dude, that one
appeased.
is really
Hold on,
widespread.
No,
That one's really
hold on.
widespread.
Just hear me out. We talk about the vocal minority. The loudest people often get the most attention. The people you're talking about are the loudest. There's millions. There's many that are quiet that are not like that.
But I know, but like, I totally buy that. I do, but
That's
I'm
why
not,
I'm not
just
saying
pulling
it's
this
as
from
prevalent
social
as y'all
media. I talk to hundreds of women every single year, and I
In the
ask them how they
Pacific
feel about
Northwest
these
of
cultural
full of
issues.
liberals. Full
And
of liberals.
I'm telling you, dude, that's widespread. That's half the country.
It's not.
And that's
It's
the
not.
majority where a lot of us
Okay.
are.
It's
And-
not where
Down here.
you are, Darnell, but it's where we are, and
Like,
that goes back
it's-
to your geography, Glenn.
I mean,
it does
it's like-
reinforce.
It's like I'm looking at 10 fingers and you're telling me I have 12, and the fact
do.
that I don't have
past
that
your
I think
fingers.
I don't have 12 is because I just don't want it bad enough. That's
look
like what
past
you're
the
telling me
fingers.
right now.
Is that Patch Adams? How's that? Like, how many fingers I got holding? I'm holding up. Look
Like,
past the
well,
fingers.
Just
Well, I don't. Well, kind of goes back to what I'm saying before. The world has indeed changed in such a way that a lot of us may we all have blind spots for it. But the thing is, it doesn't fucking matter. If you want to spend time with your nephew, do it. It doesn't fucking matter what anybody says. You can't live in fear. Yeah, and that's indeed a risk. That is indeed a risk of our modern society, 100%. Because it may be a minority, but all it takes is one. It may be a minority. I don't know, but all it takes is one person to say something stupid. But the thing is, you cannot live in fear. Just if you want to want to spend time with your nephew, do it.
I will not let anyone stop me from hanging out with my nephew other than his
yeah.
mom. That's it. Like
Exactly.
she's the one who
That's
gets something I
all
can.
you need. That's all you need. Don't let
adore my
the
nephew,
fear sit in you,
and
you know?
I'm his favorite. When he sees me, he just like explodes with excitement. It's adorable.
My niece is the same way. Yeah. Yeah.
But this is
Well,
more a
I
question of
haven't been at the
leveraging
movie yet, I
babies to pick up women. That's what we're talking about here.
It's been a
I would
tactic for
advise that.
decades. It's
I know.
it's
Leverage a
nothing
dog,
new.
man. It's safer. Get a
Oh,
My
dog.
yeah.
dog, my dog
and
is
we're
an
like, we get a
asshole.
positive response.
My
You also
dog
got to understand
hates
how many young
everything.
women are abjectly repulsed by babies but love dogs.
Wait, but the
Yeah,
woman
but
who objectively
that-
wants a
that
woman,
is
I
very
don't
fair,
want.
yeah.
I
For
don't
some-
want a woman who's repulsed by a baby. She can get
Exactly.
far the fuck
That's
away from me.
perfect then.
Good points. This might be a good
That's-
filtering mechanism. Hold on.
That's
Now I'm
perfect.
kind of coming around on the baby thing.
Well, my problem is every dog that I've ever had, for some reasons, it always turned out to be a racist, sexist. So I mean, it's really difficult to use the dog tactic.
That's
Well,
Yeah,
tough.
my
well,
dog
maybe
keeps
that's just
CK
a really
out.
good filter.
What's the thing, Arza?
Dude, do you think if I
you can use to your
Okay,
advantage, because
hold
if
on.
she is repulsed by she is repulsed by babies, good. You don't want that bitch around. But like that knowledge, you can use that to adapt to your exact circumstance. Because every bit of advice,
building who you are.
because every advice that we give you, if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. Throw it the fuck out. Who cares?
Yeah,
We'll do
you
what
gotta try it though. You gotta try it though.
I do admit there is definitely, you can't be bogged down in fear. And we can make up a million different excuses about why something doesn't work. I did that for the longest time. But life is so much more fun if you're open to experiences and open to look like an idiot every once in a while. Okay, you can laugh about it. Like I've been there. It's okay. It's okay to look like an idiot. You're not gonna have it together all the time. And no woman wants someone who's gonna has a facade so unchallenged and so so perfectly crafted that any little bit will shatter it. Nobody wants that. Women want legitimately vulnerable men. And I think that's a little bit of vulnerability and a little bit of self-deprecation is perfectly fine. Looking like an idiot every once in a while, who cares? Women like fun.
That's how I attracted more women than anything. I'm not an attractive dude. I'm short. I used to be super skinny. Now I'm fat. I was the funny guy who was self-deprecating and didn't care. And you could tell I wasn't forced or trying too hard. I got women way out of my league by being that guy, but just being myself.
Yeah, and I hear you guys, and I agree with you guys. The only, and this is a bit of a what, but this is a bit of a wall. I will admit my faults.
Yeah.
I'm the one who has to live with myself tomorrow.
Correct.
So if I go out there and look like an absolute dipshit and I bomb,
Well, we're not
I'm the
saying
one who has to stay up with that.
Well, guess what? We've bombed too. It wasn't just like out the gate, I'm this awesome dude.
I know, but
Decades
like
of
I already
being-
have
being-
I admit I have an issue where I internalize a lot of things, and then it's hard
Yeah.
to let go of certain things. And that's
Yeah.
the problem I have, and that's one of the things that makes it hard. Is I don't want to go out there and then have another thing that keeps me up at night.
So
I get
okay,
that.
so
Tom,
I
just
hear
like
you.
you.
Okay,
get
let me see if I can reframe this. I want you to do this. You don't have to do this, but it's what I want. I want you to try to think of suffering and bad experience as a gift. I want you to try to think of every embarrassing or bad or awful thing that happens to you. I want you to say thank you for that experience because I'm going to learn from it. And instead of saying, "Oh, that's so bad, I wish that hadn't happened," start saying thank you. And that's really hard. It's a hard thing I'm asking you to do. That's no bullshit. That's hard. To do that for real is hard. Right? But that, I think that's the shift that you need, because suffering is a gift, because it's an opportunity to learn and grow. Growth is not comfortable. Growth hurts. That's the only way to do it, actually. And so a lot of this, I think what Darnell and some of these some Gen X people are hearing when you say, I don't want to do this because, is they hear you shrinking from pain. Now, what they're underestimating, I think, is the amount of pain and how poorly you've been prepared for that pain earlier in your life. And those are, I think, kind of the missing gaps, right? But what
that's
they don't want you to shrink from pain. They want you to run into it and say, "Thank you, sir. May I have another?" And that's how you can be a savage and get ahead of your peers, basically.
Well,
You make a
okay.
great point there because, like, you guys know the book The Giver, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is every single person in that society is fed something that when they're hurt, they can immediately eliminate all the pain. That's basically what Zoomers are raised on, is so
Yeah.
little pain. Like, we're basically raised on the most amount of pain we're going to get is a prick from a thorn. And that's extreme for some Gen Zers. So when you're asking us to stab ourselves, that feels a little extreme to some of us. And I'm not saying that's exclusive to me. And even I can handle a bit more pain than most people that I know. But we're conditioned in such a bubble wrap society that these personal risk and this personal pain is oftentimes an issue for a lot of Zoomers.
I
But also
think
look at
that's
where you
dealing with
are.
some core
You're
issues there. I
acknowledging
think
that.
that's, we're getting
Look,
to the meat of the problem there.
That's what we do on Touch Grass, baby.
That's
Sean,
the
do you
goal.
want to do your
That's why I'm
outro
here.
before we have a lull? Because I know you got to bail. You have a hard out coming
I
up.
can't. Well, it's I can start to hear my wife struggling. 4 autistic kids in the middle of the day is rough, especially in and around
I'm hearing the
supper
same
time.
thing,
It's
yeah.
almost 5 o'clock here. So yeah, hello everyone. I'm Sean of Third Railify. You can find me and my self-deprecating humor and other types of humor I do at Third Railify on YouTube. That's where you'll find my standalone videos at Third Railify on Twitter, where I am basically awesome, and at Third Railify on Rumble, where not only do my standalone videos go, but all of my live streams, which there's many now. I have shows Monday and Wednesday with Gina. It's a show. It's a show about nothing. Monday is nerdy shit. And Saturday, which is today, tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, is Saturday Night Off the Rails. And believe it or not, it's a mustache challenge. If I can, if like it's like something like $500 American, I'll shave a Charlie Chaplin.
I don't think that's called a
what's your
Charlie
Venmo?
Chaplin anymore.
It's a Charlie Chaplin.
It wasn't
He's
Charlie
also
Chaplin.
going to throw his heart to
Make
his
sure,
fans.
make sure
Really?
you're wearing the bowler.
That's
hat,
what it
otherwise
is.
people are gonna get the
It's-
wrong
Are
idea.
you going to send your heart out to the audience?
Well, Charlie Chaplin was a comedic genius, and I hope to one day rise to his level. And that's it. just Charlie Chaplin. Anyway, so that's
Stay away from
Saturday,
oil paints.
that's tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern, and yeah, I don't know. I'll hope to see maybe some of these names in the chat. That'd be great. But Theo, thank you for inviting me on. I love this group of guys. Like, you guys are fucking awesome. And soon I'm trying to sometime in the next coming weeks. I'm trying to get Theo and Chrissy Mayer together on a stream, because I think that just would be great. So
Sorry,
I-
Theo, she's taken.
everyone
That's-
keep an eye for that, because because that would be great. I want a state of comedy kind of thing. I think
That'd be
maybe.
awesome.
Sure.
That'd be so cool.
Hey,
I-
make sure to follow this man right here at the
That's one
Railify.
step closer to getting him to meeting Matt Rife.
Okay.
I'm working on it. I'm working on
I
it.
think I could.
I am
you
working
could
on
do
it.
That. Maybe I could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Working
But-
on it, man.
But again, thank you for having me on the show.
Of course,
I hear so much autism upstairs. I have to go handle that.
Right, I
I'm
get
sorry to
you.
run, but again, I love all you guys, and I want all of you on one of my shows eventually soon. Maybe.
Awesome seeing you again, Sean.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Later, brother.
Peace out.
Hey, dude.
Easy.
The blanket, it should have said Wakanda forever.
Yeah.
Thank God
touching on
that guy's
something-
gone, right?
You know, with that blanket, make sure to chuck a spear at his like button.
There you go. So touching on I think it was you said something like, okay, to show like, yeah, all the stuff I've talked about being tough and like growing and all this, growing this person. I'm trying not to take personally when you said you don't understand the pain we've gone through. I grew up in a physically, emotionally, and mentally abusive household, like massively abusive on all three levels. So like I said, I'm not trying to take it personally, but like showing you like how like even there's even cracks in our brain.
I didn't say that. That's not what I said.
Okay, well, whoever, but you get what I'm saying. Like even we make mistakes, we fuck up. But like, so I do get how you've been conditioned. I was conditioned. I had to be perfect, and even if I was, I still would get this shit kicked out of me by people who said they love me. Mentally berated and physically, emotionally just like destroyed. And so I get it. I've been below rock bottom. I built myself from that. I went home and almost did something unforgivable to myself because of all the abuse I was taking at home and at school and in public by the people. And I turned myself from that to this. There's no way in hell I could have spoken in front of anybody when this was going on. I've come a long fucking way, and I get passionate because I don't want to see people go through the shit I went through or see people struggle to get where I am. I'm not saying, again, not saying I'm the pinnacle, I'm what everyone should be, but like all the things y'all saying y'all want is things I wanted, and I said I had to go out and make this.
What I meant was that you guys had to experience a lot more pain throughout your life. Whereas for most of our life, we experienced a lot less psychological pain. And even those because I was bullied a lot. I had issues growing up. I had issues with my parents. But there's such a safety net, and there's such a net of even in social media. Social media is a kind of painkiller, a safety net. And so we don't really get to experience this psychological hardening. There's a huge issue in psychology about resilience. Most people under the age of Gen X and some millennials really have a lack of resilience. They can't handle the struggles. And even I don't have the resilience I want. And that's what I'm saying is you have amazing resilience. Our resilience wasn't built, but now we're expected to bear the weight that people who had a lot more resilience had to bear. So we're going in there with like level 5 armor and we're taking 100 damage, whereas you've got level 55 armor.
I get what you're saying.
I didn't mean to imply that you didn't know what we were going through.
Oh
That's
man,
all.
guys, that was a really beautiful moment we just had. Guys, we've been streaming for 3 hours.
Now
What do you
let's
say
ruin it with something else.
What do you say?
So now we're going to talk about why we shouldn't trust the media.
Yeah, we'll finally get there.
Bro,
You know what? Here, I'll wrap it around. I'll bring it back. The media is what is the number one force conditioning us to be so much weaker because a weaker population is easier to control. And when they only feed us comfortable facts, we become unreasonably uncomfortable with the truth.
Yep.
There you go.
There you go.
It's the media's fault.
It's also it's conditioning people on purpose to not get married, not have children, and it's conditioning people to it's sowing like the Democrats are during the election were shamelessly sowing discord between married people. Like they didn't even give a fuck about marriage, which like it's crazy. So I agree with you. The media is set against you. So ignore the media, raise chickens, have a ton of babies, or dogs, whatever makes you happy. This is a pro dog channel. Shout out to Thor and the other one.
Butters, right?
That would be
One thing
Butters.
I wanted to say before I forget, one of the other things that you need to like when it just comes to trying to get to that first step of being comfortable in social situations, you don't have to go out. I've tried telling Nate this, to meet women. You don't have to make that your target of going out.
Right.
People take for granted male friendships. Go out and make some fucking guy friends in real life that have common interests. Get a little circle of friends going. Hey, they have sisters, they have girlfriends that have friends, that this and that. That's how a lot of people get past a lot of the roadblocks that are put in the way of traditional, meeting spaces that don't seem to work as well anymore. School, work, gym, none of those are as realistic as they used to be. But not making it your main focus to go out and socialize with women is easier, because it is hard to just go up, not seem like a weirdo going up to some guys, shoot and pull, like, hey, can I get in on the next game? And if that's not something you're comfortable doing, work on doing that. Because most of the time, you might run into some douchebags. It happens, but most guys we're really good at making friends and keeping friendships.
Yeah,
we've got that above women in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
you can't tell me I'm wrong there.
Yeah,
Theo will never tell you wrong on that one.
No, yeah.
And here's the other thing, they also have spent so much time demonizing and denigrating male friendships. Also, you did advocate for the violation of the bro code. You don't get with a bro's sister. That's violation number one.
That's bullshit.
Well, no, that's an Allen barn. Fuck that
if the
love.
bro introduces you to his sister.
That's true. But it's like,
it depends on if you have a reputation of being kind of a piece of shit, then probably not. So like nobody's friends introducing Theo to their sisters. That's not happening. You might have a chance.
I want to have sisters specifically.
Tell me I'm wrong, Theo.
No, you're right. I was gonna say that. I'm just mad you said
it. Hey, only I can roast me.
Oh shit.
But I mean, also like a lot of these male relationships and male spaces have been denigrated, so that makes it even harder for men can become friends off of one conversation. It takes one conversation, like, oh yeah, I know this guy for the rest of my life now. But all these spaces have been destroyed, so it's really hard to find those things.
It is.
Yeah.
But the best. Never underestimate the power of the fuck you, because you can have so many people in that space, like at your local comic book store. All of a sudden, it's like it's all trans night or something. Like it's just a trans hub. But you get a bunch of people who are like, yeah, I don't like what this has turned into. Hey, let's all collectively. There's a few of us. You don't even need the whole crowd. Maybe just 4 or 5, maybe 3 of you. Be like, yeah, let's go. Hey, I found this place. Let's go. I'll go there instead. Well, then that group has migrated. Because you're not going to get along with everybody. Eventually, things are going to filter down, and you might find your circle getting smaller and smaller. Yeah. But that small circle is going to be there with you for the long haul, and those relationships are going to be incredibly valuable to you in life.
I will say that my current IRL friend group is a subset of people that I met going to a game store that is now closed. So that's where I met a lot of the people that I really hang out with a lot and really enjoy their company, and people that I lived with at one point. And some of my closest friends in the world are people that I met kind of in that context. And then the friendships continued even after the third space no longer existed. So I agree with you, though, that male spaces are denigrated pretty significantly. Like the Boy Scouts is just the Scouts now. And we as a society have no problem recognizing that women need female-only spaces. And if you're a man and you want to get in there, we treat that with a lot of suspicion. You have to at least put on a dress to get in there. Right. If you want to go hang out with the women in their locker room, you got to at least, pantomime that you're a woman to get let in. Right. Okay. But for male only spaces, we just I don't know. I think our cultural messaging, and that's the other thing, too, is like some of this, buddy, is you just have to disregard the cultural messaging or know that you're cross-threaded with the cultural messaging and be okay with it. And I know how hard that is because I'm doing it on a daily basis at the street level. And it is hard, man. I'm not going to bullshit you about it. Like I call women sweetheart to their face. Usually it goes great. Sometimes it goes badly, but that's my passive protest against the fucking tyrannical HR department that's just ruined life for us, And I think part of it is you're just going to have to act counter to cultural norms if you want to get good results. And that sucks because you're going to meet resistance when you do that. And that's hard. And I'm not going to bullshit you about that. But it's going to be better for you in the long run. And so some people are going to think you're a sexist or a creep or whatever if you do that. And that is something that that's where I'm, at least in one way, at least, that I'm putting my money where my mouth is, because I'm doing that shit in real life, you know? So.
Well, an easy way, especially an easy way to diffuse that is if someone calls you a sexist, like, oh, because usually no one's going to call you a sexist if just in passing, unless you, well, I don't know, unless you're in the middle of conversation. If you're actually kind of having an interesting discussion and you're trying to make a point, and they say, well, that just sounds sexist. Okay, that's nice. Now refute the point. Because usually when those kind of labels are there to keep themselves from refuting your point. And so if you recognize that, a lot of those kind of ridiculous insults, they're just a mask. It's just a way to shut down the discussion they're not ready to have.
Yeah, we'll do another episode on that, tactics that are just attempts to shut you down and aren't really engaging, like shaming and guilt and like rallying and stuff like that, name calling, stuff like that. It's all part of the same.
Well, you don't care. It doesn't work on you. Yeah.
Right. And that's why not caring is so valuable, because you can call me names, you can laugh at me, you can shame me, you can rally the people around me. I don't care if the whole room hates me. I'm grown. What are you going to do about it? You know, but that took time to build up. I wasn't always like that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, social acceptance is a lot more important when you're younger.
Yeah.
And
And look, I understand you're having to balance, Arza, and all the Gen Zs. I was in a profession that you had to watch what you did and say every second of the day. At the same time, have thick skin where you didn't care. So like it was a hard line to walk. It was walking the same line you guys are. It was hard to walk that line. That like I commented something on a Facebook post, completely innocent and educational was the response. I almost got fired for it.
Oh my God.
So like I get that, having to walk that line of like, oh, you can't say this, you can't say that, but at the same time you have to be thick-skinned and be able to take the bullshit while being able to respond and not, I guess, offend people. Yeah. At the same time being called the worst things on the face of the planet. So I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. Again,
I lived it.
Yeah. But eventually your ass is going to be carved out of wood, and again, the more life you live, the more the easier it's going to be. The longer you've lived, the more satisfied you get with your performance and with what you've done in general with life. Like if you get a master's and get a doctorate, like I don't care. I'm okay. I don't care. I'm a PhD. You're gonna call me Dr. Arza, bitch. Like that kind of
Doctor sexist to you.
You see, perfect.
That's great.
That's
That is a great reply.
Appropriate reaction to that.
Yep.
Lean into it. Make a joke of it because it is a joke. It's
it's important. Like if you have accomplishments, and notice not institutional validation, not awards, not attaboys, not pats on the back. I'm talking about real accomplishments. Like deadlifting 300 pounds is an accomplishment. Awesome. You know, that's real. So like, for instance, a lot of times when people are yelling at me and calling me sexist, I distinctly notice no one ever says I wasn't funny.
Or no one said you're wrong.
They just say that I was sexist when I was being funny, right? So what happens is, like, I worked really, 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 really hard and looked like I wish I could dig up those videos of 18-year-old Theo doing stand-up so you could see how bad it was. And then I would love it if you could come to my shows now. I might have to do one in Vegas if I can get down there. I would really like to. We'll see. But it's like it's part of like, that's the thing. I don't know. I think that's why I'm so comfortable fucking up socially, is I've been so thoroughly humiliated so many times. And what's crazy is like I'm not less sensitive to social embarrassment than the average person. I'm actually way more sensitive to social embarrassment than the average person. I just like learned to tolerate it. And that's what I think Gen Z doesn't know, is you can actually get better at tolerating bad emotions. You can get better at tolerating bad experiences. It's not that, and your experiences will get better as you get better at tolerating, tough things. And you'll be amazed at what you can tolerate, really. Yeah. And this is what I'm saying. If you spend the next, 5-6 years of your life testing your mettle, and really, you are going to be really, really, really pleased with the dating options you have at age 28, if that's how you spend the next 5 or 6 years. That's what I'm saying.
And your results is you're changing as a person too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I see that resilience is such a problem, is that we're not trained how to handle this kind of emotional embarrassment.
Okay, so you know and you identified it. First step to beating the problem.
This is good. We might have to do an episode on this. So you give me 2 episode ideas, Arza. We're going to do one on how women argue and why it's bullshit and how to defeat it. And we're going to do one on tolerating unpleasant emotions and experiences.
Well, how to beat it is going to be a short episode. How to beat it, walk away.
How to beat it? Say that's nice and leave. Like, oh, you're cute, sweetheart.
But it's not. Some people naturally have that. Other people, like myself, when I was younger, you have to really, really, really work on it. And the only way you can work on it, just like working out, you have to put yourself into an uncomfortable situation. Fuck it up and do it again and do it again and do it again.
Just be willing to walk up to that girl and say, "Hey, do you want to get caught?"
It back down. Eventually, it's not going to be as heavy as it
Wait,
was.
so what you guys are saying? Let me hear you guys out. So I should go up and to increase my confidence level and being okay with being ashamed, I should go up and ask a woman what it tastes like. I should do what MSK does.
Yes. No, here's the thing.
No.
You'll never be more embarrassed than that. So I actually am a big fan of doing that embarrassment maxing on your first rep.
Okay.
So then you'll never say anything worse than that. So everything you could potentially say is better. Right. So you have no reason to not say because the worst has already happened. So if you're just like, hey, girl, what that mouth do? And here's the other thing, too. She might be into it. That kind of stuff works some percentage of the time. It does. If you're that guy,
It's a point of a percentage, but
yeah.
But
Cinema Quirks, I do that anyway.
Big boy, what you got down there? Something.
Yeah, dude.
Is it carpet or hardwood?
That's real. Like,
you want me to turn the software into hardware?
There you go.
It's like you actually bring out your tablet. Like, no, do you need my help?
And this is
that's what you. Oh, you thought I meant something dirty.
This is also one of the issues too with our brother MSK, friend of the channel. I don't want to shit on the man. The issue actually isn't. People say the issue is what he says. It's not what he says. It's how he says it. It's just when he says that, I can just tell he's not really about that life. Like if he was really about it, then women would not be bothered by it, and you can tell because of all the vile things I say to women all the time. I by the way, Crowdwork specials on Patreon now. If you want to go subscribe, check that out. You can see some of the vile things I say to women. And I say it right to their face, and they give me a big hug.
And they pay them for it.
Wait for the next show after.
They pay for you to talk shit to them.
They do, and this is real. This is what I'm saying. It's like it's
therapy.
About, and the reason is because of confidence. I spent so many times in college. I was walking home from a college party with my buddies, and they were yelling at me because they're like, "Bro, they finally let us into the party, and you fucking got into it with some chick, and she got mad, and now everyone's mad at us, and they hate us because we're your friend, and it's your fault." And I'm like, I was just telling the truth. Why is that bad? It took me years to figure out a way to do it in a way that worked for me. And also. The other thing, too, was that my friends did not understand that for certain women, arguing equals flirting. They hadn't made that connection yet, and frankly, neither had I. So I didn't understand why so many debate club girls were constantly attacking me in public. I had no idea what was causing that, and I realized they wanted to fuck.
This women getting mad when you tell the truth, it goes right back to the resilience problem. Men have a resilience problem, but women have it 30 million times worse because every man thinks it's their mission to cure a woman's discomfort.
Mm-hmm. Holy shit. Okay, so this, by the way, this ties us back around to the original topic, why you should be careful with the media.
Yeah, because the media wants to get rid of female discomfort.
It wants to get rid of resilience, really. And alleviating discomfort at all times and making everybody emotionally safe all the time means no tolerance for difficult truth.
They want us to be in Demolition Man.
Yeah, they will
here. I haven't seen it yet.
Well,
here's the thing. Oh my goodness.
But here's even more sinister than that because
do not pull the DVD up. Do not pull the DVD up. No, don't do it. Motherfucker.
Please have a VHS of Demolition Man.
Oh, there it is. Yes.
Oh, it's a VHS.
Well, that's something
he's not going to watch it.
I will eventually.
Get around to it, dude. Catch up. 30 years later. 40 years later, however the fuck old it is.
I'm suddenly
I've
craving,
only been alive for 20 of those years.
I'm suddenly craving Taco Bell.
We'll be dead before he watches these movies. You have no one to talk to with about him.
Well, I mean, tying it all back to the original.
Yeah, it's the year
to the original topic.
2087, and he finally put in that VHS.
Yep.
I don't even know what VHSs are. They're all gone. They're all fossils.
I have the last VHS collection. This
It's
is
like
the last
Dr. Manhattan on
demolition.
Mars. It is 2087. And I've still. It is 2035, and I haven't watched Demolition Man. It is 2040. I haven't watched Demolition Man. Just keep going.
Is it pass it down his grandson? I haven't watched this. It's your job to not watch this too.
And eventually, a
Pass this on
religion.
your
It
child.
was like a Rick and Morty episode of religion revolves around it. Like, we never touch it. It's a taboo. We never do it. And then, oh, geez, Rick, I watched Demolition Man. Oh, this whole society wants to kill me. Well, damn it, Morty.
All right, folks. How we do? We've been at this for about 3.5 hours. Let's say we do outros and get
Live?
3 1/4. 3 1/4.
3.25. But by the time we're done doing outros, it's gonna be 3.5.
Hey, you're
I would
not
do
taking
that.
into account inflation. So yes,
Oh, right.
3.5.
Not
Yeah.
that attitude. You have no idea how quick I can be.
Is an hour this Sunday?
Yeah.
Yep. Tonight is daylight saving time change.
Oh, is
Oh,
it really?
fuck.
Shit.
And I have to work at 4 in the morning, which means I lose an hour of sleep for work.
Oh,
At least you
gave
guys
an
get it
hour.
on
Why
a
everyone
Sunday.
All right.
Why your daylight saving time doesn't change on a Sunday either?
Well, as in you guys probably, I assume you guys don't work tomorrow. I have work tomorrow
Oh,
at 4 in the
oh.
morning.
There's a difference.
Joke's
Yeah.
on you, baby. I'm always working. I fucking never stop.
You know,
baby.
you stand on a stage.
I also trauma
job,
dumped drunk
Mom.
strangers.
That's a good
So,
point.
and I also there's a lot of driving. So there's more to it than you realize. I also have to deal with the influx of groupies with neck tattoos. It's like there's a lot. My life is very hard, Arza. You don't understand. I also have to condition.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, like there's a lot of challenges to the way I live. Anyway, while we're talking, speaking of challenging, Arza, where can we find you if we want more of your content?
All right, you can find me at Arza Chats on most things. I'm on Instagram, X, YouTube, and Rumble. I apologize. I got into a car crash over the weekend. It was my fault, which fucking sucked. So I've been too preoccupied to upload all week. I haven't had a chance to sit down and record. So back to videos, hopefully tomorrow or Monday. But I apologize for no videos over the last week. Thank you, none of you, for unsubscribing.
You must have just gotten your copy of Villanova.
I don't even know
No,
what that
no, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to
Fuck
Von
you,
Coleman.
Vaughn.
Shout out to Von
Fuck you,
Coleman,
Vaughn.
friend of the
This is
channel,
his fault.
indie comic book creator, friend of the channel.
But I try to do daily videos covering whatever is topical, news based, or whatever I want to talk about. And no, Cinema Quirks, that you are not right.
Watch a video instead of making a video. How about
And
that?
you know, sometimes I do movie reviews, Darnell. Just saying.
Harza can't drive.
This is my first accident in 5 years of driving. Okay,
That's
Give me
good.
some slack.
That's good.
Oh, what a yeah,
All
so
right.
you're a baby.
All right, Iron Oxide. Where can we find you if we want to consume more of your content?
Hey, you can follow me over on X. That's where I'll put all the updates to the channel. We just hit 501 subscribers. That's a huge milestone. So thank you so much, everyone. We're expanding the show to twice a week instead of just Friday, starting
Yeah.
this Wednesday with our first guest, your friend Theo Allison. Looking
Yeah.
forward to that. And it'll be the same time, Wednesdays at 5:35 p.m. PST. A lot of the same panel. We're just going to be able to spread everybody out, get more people on that haven't been able to join in a while, and go from there. The Friday show staying exactly the same every Friday at 5:35 p.m. PST. And you can occasionally catch me over here. I love being on this show. Occasionally on insert title here when I can. And then every other Saturday is Curse of Strahd over on Nate's channel. And I try to hang out with everybody here. Fucking love these guys, so I jump on whenever I can, as often as I can.
Hell yeah! All
That
right,
was it.
Strider, what's up with you? What are you getting into these days?
Yeah, well, this Thursday, I've decided I'm just going to bite the bullet. I'm going to be doing my first ever live stream. Don't get excited. I'm not going to be interacting very much.
What the hell
I'm
was
gonna be
that?
reading a book. Chill out.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm so bricked up right now at the prospect of you making content. My
Well, the thing is,
nipples
I
could
have
cut
a YouTube
glass,
channel.
bro.
I used to make videos. I just wasn't into it anymore. So I like this much better, just sitting on it, interacting. But it's mostly for me, just so I can have an excuse for reading books more often, because I'm bad at it. I love reading, but I'm bad at sitting down and actually reading the goddamn book. So
Yeah.
we're just gonna have some fun. We're gonna learn a few things, be moved. We're gonna do a little wang, little chung, you know. have
Wang,
fun.
yeah.
Hey, pause.
Everybody wanged, everybody chunged.
Just remember to be careful of copyright. They can strike you for certain books.
God damn it.
That's
Well, I've
crazy.
got to look at that. How would I know? How would I know where to find
I have
that?
no idea.
Okay. Well,
I just know
we'll
it's a
see.
risk.
We'll see. I mean, they can copyright strike me all they want. I don't care. I'll find something eventually that I can read.
Right.
Maybe I'll divvy it up and. But yeah, gonna be doing that, and then every other Saturday, this coming Saturday, of course, be with this 2/3 of the screen doing a Curse of Strahd. So we'll be and then every Friday on with Iron Oxide and everybody, pretty much everybody here with Rogues Gallery.
Yeah. All right, Emerald. What kind of cool stuff do you get into these days?
Well, not drugs. So that takes that off the plate. I know. I really am. It's just I see so many meth zombies around my place as it is that I just not appealing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got the Insert Title Here show, which is on Friday nights at 9:30 PST, 12:30 a.m. EST. We also have a new show, which is Nerds Cover the News, which is Tuesdays at 5:30 PST. And that's going to be going on. I'm occasionally on the Rogues Gallery. I am back here and helping with the production of the show. I started doing that to kind of help Theo out here on Touchgrass, and I will be back on Touchgrass. Also going to be probably back over on Sammy Three Pete's Cavecast show, which is Saturday mornings, where we're covering the lore, the history, and the background of Batman.
That was a good time this morning.
Yeah,
excellent. Excellent. Sammy Three Pete, friend of the channel. Go over there and check him out. He's a very funny guy, and he likes Batman a whole lot. So go ahead and check that out. Darnell Quigley, what kind of cool stuff are you getting into these days?
Well, I actually do have things I'm becoming on. I am supposed to be on Pop Culture Beatdown with Railify Sean. That's gonna be a Monday thing for me every week. I'm gonna be late to the news.
Nerds covering the news.
Yes, nerds covering the news. I'm supposed to be there for the Wednesday Rogues. There's a small chance I won't be. I might be called away to actually do something. So if I'm called away, I won't be there. But if not, I'll be there. Then Friday night Insert Title here, co-hosting with this beautiful man here. Saturday morning, Touchgrass, and then Saturday afternoon, these guys. We will be once again wading waist deep into the shithole of Barovia to go fight Strahd. His fucking castle.
Start using the Groundhog's Day. Well, we're going to fight Strahd again.
And
Yes.
The campaign never ends.
Don't fight angry. Don't fight angry.
I tell you what. Well, folks, my name is Theo Snodgrass. I'm your host here at Touchgrass, Theo Snodgrass. If you want to see all the cool stuff I'm into, follow me on YouTube, follow me on X, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitch, friend me on Facebook. Send me a DM with a picture of your feet, whatever makes you happy. Also, follow me. I got a merch store now. I got a Patreon now. I got cool stuff that you should buy from me. And if you want to see me do comedy, that's all paywalled behind Patreon. Go ahead, go on YouTube, take a look at some shorts, see if you enjoy the shorts. And then if you like the shorts, then go on the Patreon. We're still trying to figure out the revenue streams. Thank you so much for listening to my show. It's a labor of love. I love doing it. Thank you so much for the panel. It's been really rad here. We're just gonna do a hard out as I hold on. There we go.